We've got Trump's rally right after the debate last night. He is rallying live in Chesapeake, Virginia. We're going to cover that. Like we've been having so much fun on these Friday live streams, watching Trump speak at these amazing rallies and just these amazing historic crowds. I wanted to go live a little bit earlier. Replay viewers, come on in. Let me know if you're watching this live. Type live in the chat or live team replay or just TP or TR. TP. I'm so excited. A little too much coffee. Hey, Nez, 2 words. Decaf. Okay. But I want to show you something first, and I want to talk about, as the title suggests, I want to talk about what happened last night. A really kind of, I know we've heard, and I'm not going to go into the sort of repetitive. I know you guys have probably heard much like I have. I mean, Biden got obliterated. There was no instance. There wasn't one moment where this vegetable in chief, and I even hesitate saying that because at this point, it's really just like, it's like kicking somebody while they're down. It's like making fun of somebody who has handicaps, mental faculties, etc. And so it's really something that I don't want to kind of echo and parrot all the things that we've been hearing. I want to get very serious, and then we're going to have a blast. Okay. The first thing I want to show you that you didn't see last night, okay, is I want to show you this behind the scenes clip. Check out this behind the scenes clip of what happened exactly at the moment. Okay. What happened exactly at the moment when Biden and the actual debate, when Biden and Trump walked off the stage. I want you to watch this very carefully. You're going to see Trump, who's already walked off with the conviction, rightly so, that he absolutely slaughtered this poor elderly man. And then watch what happens when Biden exits stage. Check this out. I want to know what your thoughts are. I'm not going to say anything. Just watch this.
Seen that debate stage. Like
behind the scenes.
Biden, the First Lady has come out, former President Trump walking off the stage. The first debate of the 2024 campaign and the earliest presidential debate ever now in the books and in front of the voters. Tonight, along with Aaron Burnett, the first word on what those voters might make of it from our political professionals, from our CNN Flash Poll and Swing State Focus Group. We'll be talking to surrogates, including Vice President Harris, getting fact checks from our Daniel Dale and new reporting from inside both campaigns.
What do you gather from that? I'm just really curious. What are your thoughts? What did you see? What did you just see right there that, why did I even play that? What's the point of playing that? What did you guys actually see there? I would love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments right now. And then I'm going to talk about, what I saw. Okay. And then we're going to have a lot of fun. Okay. But I have to get serious first. And so I want to let me know what you guys saw in the, what did you guys actually see? Let me know in the comments. Welcome, everybody. It is Friday. Happy Friday. Good to see you, Captain Mike. We got the best mods in the business. Chuck in the house. Georgina, good to see you. Good to see you. Bernie's in the house. Howie, great to see you. Transplanted Texan, I love it. Transplanted Texan says, last night's debate live stream was incredible. I will never watch a debate in any other way. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, and wasn't Jason fantastic too from DWC? I absolutely love Jason. This is a snapshot of kind of what I just showed you. This is a small snapshot. Hey, good to see you, Jordan Thomas on X. If you're on X, repost this, retweet this, please. Everybody tap that thumbs up and share this. He can barely step down. That step is probably 3 to 4 inches. That's a 3 to 4 inch, less than that probably, step. And you can see, quote unquote, Dr. Jill Biden, who is one of the most evil human beings I've ever come across. One of the worst spouses in the history of abominable spouses. She is the wife, the wicked witch, the lecherous, power-hungry fiend who is willing to sacrifice her husband's integrity, Legacy, she's throwing away 50 years of public service. Why? Because she wants to continue going around the world in private jets and pretending that she's somebody. The whole world is watching. So I said I was going to get serious for a second. Then we're going to have a ton of fun. Okay. I promise you, we're going to have a ton of fun. Okay. Because we got Trump coming up and Chesapeake, Virginia. I'm beside myself. I'm absolutely beside myself. And this is how I'm going to get serious for just a second. The entire globe watched that debate last night. Why? Because whoever wins this presidential election, it will impact every single corner of planet Earth. It will impact every single country on planet Earth. It will impact every single country's economy, their geopolitical standing, how they initiate, launch new legislation, where they stand in the world. The United States of America is the leader of the free world. This is the biggest, most consequential election. I know I sound like a broken record, but it needs to be said again. This is the most consequential election in the history of America since 1861. Maybe even, dare I say, more consequential than that period. The entire world is watching our vegetable in chief be helped and guided down one stair step that's less than 2-3 inches tall, because this party tells us not to believe our eyes. This party tells us, honestly, there was also some chatter happening on X. Everybody follow me on X, by the way. I'm on X as Professor Nez. You guys know that. Let me just keep an eye too, because I want to make sure that we don't miss the president coming out, who's going to be coming out very soon to speak. There was a lot of chatter saying, hey, we don't want Joe Biden to step down. Be careful what you wish for. We want Joe Biden to stay in there. It's a perfect ad campaign for Trump. Look, I disagree vehemently, okay? I definitely don't want cackling Kamala, and I definitely think they're going to swap him out for probably Gavin Newsom, which, believe me, I do not want this absolute LAD. He is the heavyweight champion of LAD, lion-ass dogs, Gavin Newsom. I obviously don't want him to be president either, but I'm telling you right now, I would rather take, if they rig it again, if they do their shenanigans again, I don't want this guy. This guy for 4 more years will spell the end of our amazing republic. Every molecule of respect that we have had for our country is oozing down the drain every single day, little by little, as this guy refuses to step down. He should step down. They should put Big Mike in there. They should put Gavin Newsom in there, which it's like an 85 to 90% chance it's going to be Newsom. They'll probably have an open convention in Chicago, and Biden will release all his delegates, and Newsom will be the new nominee. That's the only chance they have. I would rather that happen. As much as I abhor and can't stand Newsom, and if he makes America California, holy macadamia nut, we're finished. I can't have this. This is an embarrassment. As somebody who loves my country and bleeds red, white, and blue, we can't have this vegetable in chief anymore. It is not even embarrassing anymore. It's not even funny anymore. It is a calamity of the highest order. It is an absolute calamity. And then watch this. This is absolutely amazing. Watch this. It's almost like she has absolutely no scruples. She has absolutely no scruples whatsoever. Watch this, okay? She actually says this right after the debate. Listen to this.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
You answered every question. You knew what they were going to ask. Is this a joke, or is this really happening right now? Is this absolutely really happening right now? I beg your pardon? How is this possible? How is this happening? What kind of a person are you, Dr. Jill Biden? What kind of a human being are you? Is this the party that is devoid of morals? Is this the party that's devoid of right and wrong? Across the world, yeah. Hey, good to see you, cute one. Yeah, like he deserves a cookie. It's unbelievable. Great to see you, Laura. Yeah, does he get an ice cream cone? And the left is completely panicking. Everybody is panicking. The New York Times just let out all these articles. He needs to step down. It's no longer what they used to whisper, what were murmurs, what were rumors. They're now saying it out loud. They're in complete panic mode. That's what they are. They're in complete panic mode now. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, they're actually saying now the loud part, the quiet part out loud. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So I want to hear what you guys thought. I just posted the replay of me and Jason commenting and giving our analysis. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. I'll also leave it in the end screen after this stream is finished. New members, old members, current members, veteran members, stick around. We're going to have a live Q&A at the end. Now is a great time to become a member. Maybe one of our mods could share a link to that, or you could just click the join button down below. We're live on YouTube. We're live on X, Rumble, Facebook. It is so awesome to see you. So I'm going to end the stream at the end on all the other platforms, and we'll be members only on YouTube. YouTube is our main hub. I was really upset that CNN, the Communist News Network, wouldn't allow us to live stream the debate here on YouTube. So we live streamed it on Rumble and X, which was fantastic. There was a lot of technical issues. Rumble crashed. It absolutely crashed because of the volume of streams that probably would have been on YouTube. I think YouTube really blew the pooch there. But it's really interesting to see the left absolutely panic. Hey, good to see you, Jim Barron. Good to see you guys. Yeah, that's a great point. The cute one just said, all Trump had to do was show up. Biden imploded. It was all by design. The left are completely panicking. I mean, and by the way, Gavin Newsom was there last night. Gavin Newsom was there last night in full Technicolor, live and in the flesh. He was in there. Please tap that thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And by the way, if you want to engage in the chat, just subscribe. It's free. Absolutely free on YouTube, at least. There's no way that anybody in their right mind who uses any kind of logicality could actually say to themselves, this guy can make it another 4 years and he can run this country. Let me tell you something. If you can't handle a 90-minute debate and you need help down a little bitter baby bubby step, a little itty bitty preschool step by your wife, who is the spouse from the depths of the depths of hell, who's enabling this farce to continue. If you can't handle a 90-minute debate, if that's your performance, how do you think he's going to perform in negotiations with leaders across the world representing us? He's a representative. Remember, he works for us. He is a public servant. He works for us. He represents us. That's what our forefathers embedded in the fabric of our Constitution. Remember, taxation without representation. That was the catalyst, the beautiful spawning of this amazing experiment, this amazing country called the United States of America. If you can't handle 90 minutes with a political opponent, how in the world are you expected to handle negotiations with some of the top leaders who are all aiming? Xi Jinping from China, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, Iran, Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu runs laps around this guy. It's pathetic. How can you even begin to think that you can handle any of those very, very high intensive meetings, encounters, conferences, important negotiations representing the United States of America, representing the people, we the people? And this guy, I mean, on top of all of that, this guy has his freaking fingertips on the nuclear codes. How is that possible? Hey, good to see you, Dawn. Members are in the house. Dawn Leiser says, I had a horrible thought. We knew the Democrats were going to cheat. But this is like the ultimate cheat to throw a new, shiny candidate because Joe's too old. This is truly political theater. Absolutely. Yeah, Transplanted Texan brings up a great point. He was tweeting the entire debate. So who was tweeting for President Biden? I guarantee you nobody tweets for Trump. He does all that himself. That is all him 1,000,000,000%. Let me see if I can share a few more clips from what happened. Let me see if I can share a few more clips. I mean, do we even really need to see this? Probably not. But while we're waiting for Trump and Chesapeake Bay, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Oh, check out this ad. This is awesome. Check out this ad by Trump. This is freaking amazing. You have to see this. Okay, you gotta see this, because this is absolutely amazing. Okay, check this out. Hold on. Check this out. This is who we have running the country.
Both sides, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with
what?
Dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if
embarrassing,
we finally beat Medicare. We're trying to find housing for Black Americans. The impact on the choice.
Everybody write elder abuse in the comments.
I'm proposing that everybody, they pay, the millionaires pay 1%. So no one after, I would not raise the cost of Social Security for anybody. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6.
Yeah.
And once you get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it stopped. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Just some, by the way, brilliant move. I mean, absolutely brilliant move by Trump to put that together. That's an ad. He doesn't have to do anything. Remember the great Eastern philosophy saying, when your enemy's making mistakes, don't interrupt them. We got to get our country. I mean, it's, I was watching the replay just a little bit before our live stream. I'm going to let you in on it. I might get emotional here. I was watching the live stream again before I posted it, and I wasn't sure if I was able to post it. I was working on it all morning, trying to make sure that all the legal nomenclature and all the legal requirements so I could post the replay, because they wouldn't let us post the commentary live. So we were live on Rumble and X, and they wouldn't let us post it on YouTube live. CNN, Communist News Network, because they wanted to make sure that they had the last say on everything. Which is funny because it does seem to me it was all premeditated. It does seem to me that their plan was to get Newscomb in there and make him look bad and throw him under the bus, because these guys eat their own. They don't give a rat's ass about you. They don't give a rat's ass about me. They eat their own. The only thing this party cares about, which, by the way, it's an insult to call them the Democratic Party. They're not the Democratic Party. As much as I can't stand Bill Maher, I agree with him. This party is unrecognizable. It's not the Democratic Party. This is the radical, extreme left of Marx, left of Lenin, anti-American, terrorist supporting party. I don't know who these people are. They're unrecognizable. They eat their own. They only care about one thing: retaining power. But as I was watching this and as I was getting this ready, I felt ashamed of myself. I'll be honest. I've never shied away from the truth with you guys. I've always wanted to tell you guys the truth. Well, Nez, why were you ashamed of yourself? Because I was laughing. I was laughing a lot last night when I was watching this. And it's just truly sad. There's nothing funny about this. There's no funny business about this. Our country looks absolutely deflated. Our country looks weaker than weak, submissive, passive, vulnerable, like I've never seen before. Our country looks vulnerable like I've never witnessed before. This is no laughing matter. And we have to remain vigilant, because the same thing that happened in 2016 when everybody underestimated Trump, do not underestimate this lecherous, verminous, poisonous, treasonous, radical, left extremist party. Don't underestimate these guys. We have to be too big. Give me a hashtag too big to rig in the comments right now. We have to stay vigilant. We cannot, shall not, will not. Remember the press conference. Remember the press conference. Let me see if I can find a clip of that, which was so brilliant. Remember the press conference from Kobe Bryant, the late, great, God rest his soul. Give me a prayer emoji in the comments for Kobe Bryant. God rest your soul, sir. Love you. God bless you and your family. But remember the press conference? Oh, here it is, I think. Is that it? No, hold on. Let me see if I can find this. But remember when he said job not finished? You guys remember that press conference? Let me see if I have a clip of that. Okay, here we go. I want to show you this. I want to show you this, because this is how we need to think. This is so important. Everybody watch this. Turn up the volume, okay? Everybody watch this. I want you guys to listen to this. We cannot underestimate this party. Why? Because they are absolutely lecherous. And we need to take the advice of the amazing Kobe Bryant. Listen to this.
Still waiting for a big smile out of you. You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or
Still to be happy about.
you're up 2-0?
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
Job not finished. Did you guys hear that? We cannot be complacent. We cannot, it's very easy to take that easy win, which, by the way, there was a poll saying he won by 67%. So 67% of people thought that Trump absolutely won. I don't know who the other 33% are. I don't know who these blind, crazy people who actually thought Biden won that debate last night. I don't know who these 33% are, but we should deport them immediately, or at least get them some mental assistance ASAP. Bernie, good to see you, Bernie. Bernie says it best right here. Job not finished. Job not finished. We cannot, ladies and gentlemen, Nez Nation, we cannot be complacent. We do so at our own peril. We need to work. I'm going to work even 10 times harder. I'm going to advocate even 10 times harder because I bleed the red, white, and blue as you do. We got to get our country back. We got to get our ferocity back, our balls back. We need to get our vision back, our sheen, our veneer, our glowing leadership. We need to be the spotlight of the world, shining brighter than ever before because we are the United States of America. There's a reason why everybody is pouring into our country. There's a reason why everybody's dying to come into our country. There's a reason why we have millions and millions and millions of people every single week trying to get into our country. They're not pouring into Sudan. They're not pouring into Venezuela. They're not pouring into Nicaragua. I just wanted to say that. Nicaragua. They're not pouring into Guatemala. Okay, I'll stop. They're not pouring into Siberia. They're not pouring into Ukraine. They're not pouring into the UK. Here, the United States of America, that's where they're pouring into because this is the home and land of the free, home of the brave. This is the land of promise. This is the land of opportunity. This is where it all happens. So, in the words of Kobe Bryant, what's there to be happy about? Hey, all of you conservative influencers, conservative pundits, Fox News, whoever, Dan Bongino, I don't care who you are. Don't get complacent. Don't start spiking the football. Job not finished. We need to finish the job. You know what I'm going to celebrate? I'm going to celebrate after it is 100%. I don't even know if I'm going to celebrate after November 5th. I'm going to celebrate once this dude is inaugurated. I will be drinking a nice bottle of bubbly, watching the inauguration, probably live streaming it with y'all. Who wants me to live stream the inauguration? That's when we can celebrate. That's when we can get excited about practicality, pragmatism, a return to meritocracy, a return to security with our border, a return to tax laws that make sense, a return to a flourishing, thriving economy, a return to safety, support of law and order, support of our men and women in blue, a return to sense, a return to practicality, a return to something that makes sense about our children, a return to safety and protection of our children, instead of giving them these transgender puberty blockers before the age of consent without having a clue what the long-term health ramifications are. This party is demonic. This party is demonic. This is not the Democrats. This is not the Democratic Party. This is an anti-American, extreme left wing, left of left. They're so left, you can't even call them left. They left the door. They left the room. They left the house. They're gone. Finish. Kaput. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. That's what's happening. So Biden gave a speech. I'm actually shocked that he did this, but Biden gave a speech after. Biden gave a speech after he was in, where was he? I think he was in Pennsylvania or Philadelphia. I don't know where he was. Let's see. Where was he? I don't, it doesn't really matter. Who cares? But he actually did a rally, and it looked like the meds started to kick in. Maybe they didn't give him the meds last night. I thought maybe in the beginning, but maybe they just waned and wore off. Raleigh, that's what it was. Thank you, Georgina. Yeah, he was in Raleigh, North Carolina. And exactly, he was, why? So it was like just like the State of the Union. Why this screaming and yelling? And when did we become so angry? When did anger and hysteria and belligerence become synonymous with leadership? Can somebody tell me in the comments? When did anger and belligerence become synonymous with leadership and presidentiality? Can anybody tell me that? When did that equate to presidential? How does that make an ounce of sense? I mean, it's like if I yell, like who told him? Who is his campaign consultant saying, dude, if you yell and scream and bark like a carnival dog, you're going to gain respect. And then they'll say you're mentally with it. I mean, shame on the people around him. They denied, and shame on you, mainstream media, which is the whole purpose of my channel, the whole purpose of my media organization, this grassroots independent media. Shame on you, media. Shame on you, woke left mafia media, who really, it's not, I mean, you got to understand, it's not Biden. Biden's hubris, his geriatric ego. I know people like this. I've got people in my family like this. Their ego is so big. They refuse to see that they've slowed down. They refuse to see that they should be continuing to do these types of physical, heavy lifting activities, et cetera, et cetera. Their ego, it's not the individual. It's not Biden. It's that absolute swamp vermin, Jill Biden, the worst spouse in the history of spouses. It's the media that knew. The media that knew, which makes Robert Hur's, the investigator, Robert Hur's audio tapes and the suppression and censorship of those audio tapes all the more pronounced and egregious. No wonder he hid behind executive privilege. No wonder he didn't want us to listen to those audio tapes. We just heard a sequel to the audio tapes last night. We just heard a sequel. We just heard part 2. The real tapes? I'd be hard-pressed to believe that the real actual audio tapes are any indication different than what we already learned last night. What we've already known. Shame on you, mainstream media. Shame on you, CNN. Shame on you, MSNBC. Shame on you, John Muir. Shame on you, CBS. Shame on you, Nora O'Donnell. Shame on you, ABC. Mainstream corporate media. You've known for not just months, not just years, maybe potentially decades, that this guy's mental decline was imminent. You guys knew this guy could barely structure and craft a sentence. There's video footage. There's video footage of Obama, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. There's video footage of comedians pointing out Biden's incapacitation. This was decades ago. This was over 10 years ago when the divider-in-chief, Obama, was in office. There's jokes about his mental faculties. Why are they joking about that? Why are they joking about his mental faculties? Congratulations, Keenan, on becoming a new member. Everybody give him a round of applause. Great to have you with us. Welcome, Keenan. Thank you so much, Squeaks. Rumble crashed because people refuse to watch mainstream media. Rumble is the new mainstream media. Follow me on Rumble. Make sure you follow me on Rumble. We're live on Rumble right now as well. So we're just waiting on this live stream to begin. And let me show this right now just for the time being. Let's see here. So we're just now waiting. It looks like he's just arriving right now. Chesapeake Bay, Virginia. More to come. We're gonna have a live. Get your popcorn, get your snacks, get your drink. Happy Friday. I love you guys so much. I love you, Nez Nation. It is my mission. It is my purpose to give you the best content on planet Earth to get our country back. This amazing, glorious, rapturous, amazing country, the United States of America, has given me all the opportunities in my life. It is time to give back. I give everything away for free. I never ask you, you have to donate, you have to be a member, you have to give me a super chat. I never ask for that. This is all free. Hours of my time, qualitative, quantitative research, due diligence, because we got to get our country back. And I just want to say, it is an absolute honor to have you here with me. It is an absolute privilege and an honor to have you here. So tap that thumbs up. Please subscribe. In the pinned comment is our free newsletter. You can go to my bio on X or my bio on Facebook, and you'll see it's free. It's absolutely free. It's your sure-proof, fail-safe way of never missing out on another latest update, breaking news, current event, top story that mainstream media won't cover because they won't. It doesn't fit the narrative. So make sure you hang out with us. I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Laura. We got the best mods in the business. Captain Mike Shriver, Laura Tilford, Jim Barron. Got great mods here. I might make Transplanted Texan a mod too. I really like him or her. It doesn't matter what you are. Hey, Transplanted Texan, if you here's the conditions for being a mod. You got to consistently be here, consistently engage, consistently participate, consistently show us that you're not here to troll and spam, which I know you're not. And I will make you a mod. Mod is a huge badge of honor, especially for this channel. I'm so excited to bring you this. We're going to have fun. Grab your drink. Grab what you got. Share this out. Tap that thumbs up. And we are going to be waiting patiently. Okay. We're going to be waiting patiently for the president, who is, I can't wait. He was so charming last night. So, by the way, okay, so we haven't talked about this. We've been talking negatively about Biden, which is easy to do because, and I told you we were going to get serious, and now let's have some fun. So I'm really, really curious what you guys thought of President Trump's performance. We all know he absolutely eviscerated Biden. But a couple of things that even Jason pointed out last night when we were live, if you haven't seen that, I posted that on YouTube, by the way. I was able to overcome the hurdles, the legal hurdles involved. But I want to say this really quickly. What did you guys think of Trump's performance last night? Aside from the fact that he obliterated Biden, what do you think of his performance? How do you think he answered the questions? What do you think of his demeanor, his mannerisms, his confidence, his energy, his conviction, his mental faculties, which it's so ironic and profoundly absurd that now the extreme radical left is saying, oh, look at Trump. He doesn't have any mental faculties. Look, he's getting slow. It's absolutely absurd. It is absolutely, yeah, Chuck, well said. Chuck said he was the consummate professional. I got to tell you, Jason brought up some great points last night. Jason, if you're here or watching the replay, love you, man. We're going to have him on again. I was really pleasantly surprised. You know, I have to admit, there was a part of me that loved the first debate back in 2020 because I just love how Trump trampled all over the vegetable. But I really was impressed with his poise more than anything. I was really impressed with his poise, his composure. And by the way, here's something that's really important to point out. He did not ad hominem attack Biden once. And there was countless examples. I think somebody was in our chat last night during the live stream on X, counted over 10. There was at least a dozen times where Biden defiantly and really unbecomingly looked at Trump and called him personal attacks. Whiner, loser, sucker, liar. The list goes on and on and on. As a matter of fact, Shriver just brought it up. Captain Mike, the best mod in the business. And I've been hearing some rumors, Mike, of people trying to steal you away. Hey, Mike is ours. Mike is Nez Nation through and through. He's not going anywhere. Love you, Mike. Big shout out to Mike. 12 times he cussed out Trump. Yeah, Trump was being bullied by Biden. And you know what? I wouldn't even say bullied. He was attempting to. This is the product. By the way, Trump didn't do any debate prep. You have to. The stark contrast is so. I said this last night too. By the way, in other debates, I've been known to say this. Oh wow, Clinton made a good point, or you know what, John Kerry made a decent point, or whatever. Dole made a great point, or Bush made a great point, or whatever. It's very obvious to me that the two candidates have a respect for the office in the majority of debates in our country. Last night, I've never seen a more pronounced, disparate chasm of differences. It was so beyond obvious who was capable of being president and who wasn't. Okay. And I was just blown away. I was absolutely blown away by the fact that there wasn't one time, not once, where I thought Biden did anything that even closely reflected what a president should embody and project. Not once. I mean, not once. If anything, Trump was the defiant one. So Trump didn't actually prep for this debate. Instead, he did the right thing. He campaigned. He went out there and campaigned, even though he's got all this politicized, weaponized DOJ after him, gag order, etc. The list goes on and on. He campaigned. He did the right thing. Okay. Biden was holed up at Camp David. This guy was holed up at Camp David for over 7 days. A 50-year politician. This is a 50-year. This guy he was one of the Judiciary Senate Committee leaders when Clarence Thomas was attempting to apply and be announced that he was going to be a candidate for the Supreme Court. He was on that committee. He was the leader of that Senate committee. That was over 40 years. A 50-year politician. A 50-year politician. 7 days. 7 days hold up. Okay. 7 days hold up at Camp David with over 16 advisors. Over 16 political consultants. And that was the result? That was the byproduct? Holy macadamian nut. You got to be kidding me, man. You got to be kidding me. That is absolute garbage. Holy mackerel. Holy mackerel. I mean, it makes sense that they're panicking. It absolutely makes sense that they are panicking. It's just unreal. I can't wait. I'm so excited. If you're excited to, I can't wait. If you're excited to hear what Trump says, if you're excited to hear Trump today, give me a huge yeah in the comments right now. Just type a big capital yeah in the comments right now. I am so excited. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to hear what he has to say about what happened last night. I cannot wait. I can't wait. It's going to be absolutely glorious. This is going to be so much fun. So get ready, folks. He's just about to make sure you tap that thumbs up if you haven't already. He's just about to go live. He's just about to speak. Holy macadamia nut. Absolutely love it. I can't wait for this. And Trump didn't let anything get to him. Like Trump did not let anything bother him. He was on point. As I said, he was composed. He didn't let anything bother him. He called out all the lies. He hit all his talking points. He didn't need notes. He didn't need to go like this. How about those? Okay, can we talk about the facial expressions? Hold on, I got a screen share. Can we talk about the facial expressions last night? Are you kidding me, ladies and gentlemen? Can we please talk about the facial expressions last night? Are you joking with me right now? What about those facial expressions? Holy macadamia nut. Is this a joke? Or I mean, how in the world? Look at this. I love this front page. This is front page of the New York Post today. LaWanda, you said it. LaWanda said 50-year politician who needed notes and an earpiece. He doesn't. And by the way, they were all these ridiculous talking points. Ridiculous, regurgitated, parroted talking points. Zero substance. This was on the front page of the New York Post. And many people agree it was an absolute travesty. It was a calamity. I can't wait to hear what Trump says. I cannot wait to hear what Trump says about this. This is going to be magnificent, folks. Magnificent. Yeah, I agree. I agree. By the way, how is that healthy for him to have him all jacked up all the time? I mean, I know his son, convicted felon. Everybody type in convicted felon Hunter Biden, since they're so hell-bent on calling Trump a convicted felon. Convicted felon Hunter Biden is an absolute juicer. We know that. There was a bag of cocaine found at the White House not that long ago. How is that healthy for an 82-year-old? How old is he now? 82, 92, 602? How old is Biden now? How is that healthy for him? I mean, it can't be healthy for him, can it? It just can't be. All right, we're minutes away from watching this. I cannot wait. Grab your drink, grab your popcorn. Holy mackerel, is this going to be fun? We're going to be going live, by the way, and hopefully the next debate will be hosted by Fox, or at least a news organization that doesn't believe in communism and Marxism and actually believes in the First Amendment, free speech, free expression, free press. We are definitely going to go live. So follow us, subscribe. It's absolutely free. It costs you nothing. Again, your best sure-proof way of never missing out, in the pinned comment, in the description, and in the show notes, is our free newsletter. Become a Nez Nation Insider. It's free. It's absolutely free. We don't spam. We don't share your email with anybody. That is not the Nez Nation way. Yeah, that was actually an interesting point. Transplanted Texan. That was actually an interesting point in the debate last night when Trump, I think it was the only time, but it wasn't an ad hominem attack. Excuse me. It was the only time. It was the only time that Trump turned to Biden and said, "You know what? You should be convicted. You're a criminal." And that wasn't an ad hominem attack. Okay, thank you. Gerbear on Rumble says the next debate is supposed to be CBS. So I don't know. We might not be able to live stream it. They might pull the same crap. You know, they're just as woke and anti-American as CNN. Yes, thank you, Mike, for sharing that. Thank you, mods. Really appreciate that. You guys are the best. We have the best mods in the business. I absolutely love it. So we're definitely going to go live during the next debate. And, you know, even though the left is panicking right now, even though the left is completely losing it right now and actually saying the quiet part out loud, he was defiant. The president, the vegetable in chief, was actually defiant. And he said, I am definitely going to be there. He already said I'm there. He agreed to the second debate. He agreed apparently to the terms and conditions. And then, we didn't talk about this either. The left actually had the audacity. The woke mafia media, to say that Joe had a cold. And then there was even some people, which I don't even know how these witches actually were given the opportunity to be on television. But the witches of The View, the witches of Westwick, of Eastwick, the witches of Viewstick, Joyless Bahar and Whoopi Communist Goldberg, actually had the audacity to say it was rigged against Biden. They actually had the audacity to say it was rigged against Biden. Can you believe that, folks? Rigged against Biden? How was it rigged against Biden? How in the world was it rigged against Biden? How in the world does that make any sense whatsoever? Rigged against Biden. He was the one who came up with all. He was the one who came up with all the parameters. How is it rigged against Biden? Is that a joke? He was the one who came up with all the stipulations. He was the one who said we have to have no mics, muted mics. He was the one who said we have to have no audience, no live audience. So how is that? How is that? That makes no sense to me. How can you say it was rigged? Okay. How can you say it was rigged when he was the one who came up with all the parameters? Oh, Howie, I hope you're right. I will help you pack. Whoopi has been Goldberg. Whoopi, total has been. Geriatric has been Goldberg. Anti-American Goldberg and joyless Bahar and joyless Reed. And this Nicole gal from MSNBC, God, is she a farce? I will help you pack. I will physically drive to your home. Everybody, this is on the record. If you decide to move out of the country when we get our country back and we get the rightful president, I will happily help you move. I will happily help you pack. I will happily show up with a big giant grin from ear to ear, and I will pack. You don't even have to do anything. You can watch me. You can sit down and have a mimosa while I pack your entire home myself, physically, so you can get the F out of our country. It's on the record, folks. It is on the record. I will do it myself. Who's with me? Will anybody help me pack Whoopi has been Goldberg and joyless Bahar if they decide to leave? All these actors, Robert De Niro. I can't even watch The Godfather. It's so sad. Is it just me, or did these crappy anti-American actors ruin old movies? Like Robert De Niro ruined. I can't watch Casino. I can't watch Goodfellas. I can't watch Godfather ever again. Barbara has been Streisand. I can't, I mean, these actors, not that I like Mark Ruffalo or ever watched any of his movies, but he's in a couple of movies with Leonardo DiCaprio that Scorsese directed that I liked. Can't watch those. Can't watch those. Who else? There's a bunch of other crappy actors. Jim Carrey, who I loved as a kid growing up. Jim Carrey, who I loved as a kid growing up. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel is about as talented as my left pinky toe on a bad day. I could care less about Kimmel. Yes, Corey, thank you so much. Corey says, I will help you pack. Yeah. How about you move to a country that you support? Yeah, Jim Carrey is nuts. So is De Niro. Absolutely. Go Peach. Absolutely. Too big to rig. That's why I showed that. That's why if you're just joining us, I shared the Kobe Bryant clip, because we cannot, ladies and gentlemen, we absolutely cannot become complacent. We have to be more vigilant. I am going to be creating and producing more content, more videos. I'm going to be going live more than you've ever seen me. We are less than 5, almost 3.5, 4 months away from the greatest, most consequential day of our lives as American citizens. This is it. We cannot celebrate. Yes, we had a huge win in the Supreme Court today. We had a huge win last night. Trump absolutely eviscerated Biden. It was no contest. It was like a heavyweight going up against a super light featherweight. No contest. Actually unfair, to be honest. It was really unfair. This is it. We have got to, because I guarantee you, Newsom, when Newsom takes over, not only are they going to give him every advantage, but Newsom can actually beat Trump in a debate. He can, because he is a LAD like we've never seen. I've met a lot of lioness. He is Frank Underwood. He is Frank Underwood in the flesh. And as much as I love that show, House of Cards, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I never wanted a Frank Underwood in real life. In fiction, he's glorious to watch and fun to watch. But in real life, it's terrifying, absolutely terrifying. He is an evil, repulsive human being. And I've never seen, it's terrifying that fiction has become reality. He is a real, live Frank Underwood, the most egregious lion-ass dog. Everybody give me a capital LAD. Give me a capital LAD for Newscomb in the comments, please. Give me a capital LAD. Because he is a lion-ass dog like I've never seen. He is Frank Underwood in the flesh. And trust me, when I say he can beat Trump, I mean that he's one of the greatest liars that ever lived. And they're gonna give him so much advantage, especially these woke platforms that are hosting these debates. They're going to give him so much advantage that, look at these LADs. I love all these LADs. Give me a capital LAD. Replay viewers, give me a capital LAD in the comments. LAD, LAD. I love it. LAD, baby. Jack Weiser, great to see you. Angie Warren in the house, great to see you. Give me an LAD. That's what I'm talking about. Lion-ass dog. That's what these people are. They are absolute lion-ass dogs. Look at this crowd. Look at this crowd for Trump. Holy macadamia nut. If you haven't already, please tap the thumbs up and share. I would really, really appreciate it. Hang out, new members and super chats. I'm going to give you shout outs at the end, and we'll do a very brief, because I've already been live for almost an hour here. Actually, it has been an hour. I don't know, guys. I might not be able to do the members hangout at the end, but I'll promise I'll do at least a couple minutes. Yeah, by the way, everything goes towards the Trump campaign. Everything does. All the super chats, all super stickers, every single penny goes towards the Trump campaign. Because again, I'm doing all this for free. I'm not here to brag. We need to get our country back. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. We have to get our country back. LAD. That's right, Lawanda. Thank you, Deborah. And so Newscomb, what we saw last night was an absolute calamity. But if and when, I think it's only a matter of when Newscomb does take over, he's going to be able to make the debates a real fight. I'm not saying he's going to outdo. He's a lion-ass dog, but I think he's going to be able to at least compete with Trump. I think Trump can still obliterate him, but he's going to be at least be able to compete. Okay. Because last night we did not have a competitor. Last night we had a vegetable that is more ripe than I thought he was. I mean, he's so ripe. He's already fallen off the vine. He has already fallen off the vine, and he's about to mold, decompose. There's no way cackling Kamala. I'm seeing some people in the comments saying, are you saying that they're going to pass up cackling Kamala? Yes, they are. Her approval rating, believe it or not, which actually I do, is actually worse than Biden's. I mean, her and Newscomb are literally the worst of the worst when it comes to corrupt politicians. They don't have souls. You can't see any soul. When I look into Newscomb's eyes, and believe me, I live in California, so I was there present during every single COVID conference, a lot of the issues that affect my state. You don't see a soul when you look into the eyes of Gavin Newscomb. You don't see a soul. I've never met a phonier. The only person who's maybe phonier than cackling Kamala is Newscomb himself. And the fact that people vote for Newscomb, the fact that people actually support Kamala, all because they hate mean tweets, not because of policy. You got to understand, this is how tribal, this is how cultist, this left extreme radical terrorist organization called the woke mafia, this is how they think. This is how they think, okay? They don't give a rat's ass about each other. They don't give a rat's ass about you. They don't give a rat's ass about the country. They will support unflinchingly, unwaveringly for a dead stick of meat flesh, which is exactly what Biden is, over saving our country because of the cultist mentality. They will vote for literally a demonic individual. Demonic. I am calling cackling Kamala demonic. She does not have a soul. They will vote for Newsom, who does not have a soul. Doesn't have a soul. Over saving our country because that's who they are. That's exactly who they are. And so it's the most, and they will support, they will campaign. Oh, here's some more actors because they had that Los Angeles Tom Hanks. I can't watch, and I actually liked Tom Hanks back in the day. I can't watch Tom Hanks. I'm not even though I like Larry David, I can't watch Larry David anymore either. I like Curb Your Enthusiasm. I loved Curb Your Enthusiasm, but he's a demented leftist pig too. He's a demented leftist anti-American commie too. So I can't watch any of these. Who has advertisements in the middle of their? I mean, it's a live stream, for crying out loud. Okay, let's see if we can find somebody else. Okay, so he's still coming, not quite there yet. Let's see if I can actually share this screen here. Hang out with me for just a second. Yeah, so I can't actually. No, I can't. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay, so we're just waiting now. He's almost there. He's almost going to come up. I'm glad I went live early, though, because I really wanted to share that debate recap. And if you missed it, definitely rewind and check that out. Good to see you, OD Green member. Yes. Good to see you. So that's who they are. That's who this party is. That's what they stand for. They only want one thing and one thing only. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. All they care about is power. That's literally it. They only care about power and retaining power. They don't care about the country. They just don't. And it's abundantly clear. If you don't know that, if you can't see that, God bless you. God have mercy on you, really. Because it is abundantly clear that that's all they care about. I mean, how can anybody in their right mind support this vegetable after what happened last night? How could anybody support that? How could anybody support that? It just makes absolutely no sense to me. I can't wait. And boy, he was funny last night too. I was laughing. Trump was funny, charming, relatable. That's why everybody. How do you not love this guy? How do you not love this guy? Zucchini in chief. I like that, Mike. Yeah. I mean, look, like I said, I love the way that China baby. Good to see you. Welcome. Like I said, it's not the Democratic Party anymore. These guys are unrecognizable. It's not. This is a radical extreme. It is a radical extreme party that just, it doesn't make any sense at all. Literally doesn't make any sense at all. They're unrecognizable. They've completely left their base. 100%, they have left their base. They have become an unrecognizable party. 100%. There's no doubt about that they've become an unrecognizable party. And by the way, this is not going to, I mean, he's not going to get any better. If you're holed up for 7 days at Camp David with over, 17, 18 advisors chirping in his ear, Obama was there. Obama was at Camp David trying to help Zucchini in chief. Probably Clinton was there. I don't know. I can't imagine how many mock debates they probably did. You know, I picture all his advisors with their head in their hands, just going, my God, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. But trying to, through gritted teeth, trying to smile and be like, oh, Joe, you're doing fantastic. You're doing great. Why is this? This is like the most coordinated gaslighting project I've ever seen in my life. Am I wrong? Yes, Angie, good point. There's nothing wrong with ADD. I have ADD. There's nothing wrong with ADD. Okay. And I'm not even, don't even get me started. I'm not going to even go there, but ADD is almost a misnomer anyway. Just really, I focus on things I'm interested in. And that's the thing, you know, all the constraints. Let's talk about that for a second while we wait for this, because they're probably going to do the same thing. They're probably going to do the same thing in the second debate. They're probably going to have the mute factor and all that. By the way, let me know in the comment, did you enjoy the format better than the previous debates or worse? Give me a better in the comments or worse in the comments. I'm just curious. There's a green light that went off. It muted when you weren't speaking. You couldn't hear the other person. No live audience. Everybody got 2 minutes and then a minute rebuttal. Did you like it better or worse? Okay, I'm seeing some betters. Okay. I'm seeing some betters. I'm seeing some worse. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Where did you send those, Keenan? Did you send those on Discord? I'll check them out. Send them to me on Discord, to my personal message. DM me. I mean, I have the link. It's not showing yet. He's not ready to speak yet. I have the link to the stream. I'm all set. Thank you, though. I appreciate your help. So I'm seeing a lot of betters. I'm seeing a few worse. Okay. Better here on Rumble. Better and short to the point. I like that. Better, Wooeen. Good to see you, Wooeen. Vern, good to see you. Wow, that's a great point. I like what Vern said here. Vern said better. The American people got to see what they were hiding in the basement for 4 years. Wow. Well said. Well said. That's amazing. Yeah, they're scrambling. They're panicking. I never thought I would see it. Did you guys see Van Jones last night? Did you hear what Van Jones said? Let me see if I can find Van Jones's comment on CNN. It was unreal. Okay, check this out. Check out what Van Jones said. Listen to this.
Not a good debate for Joe Biden.
That was painful. I love Joe Biden. I work for Joe Biden. He didn't do well at all. He did not do well at all, and he looked. You know, I'll give you the analysis. You know, you kind of have the old man versus the con man. I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can. But he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now.
Yeah.
We're still far from our convention, and there is time for this party to figure out a different way forward if he will allow us to do that.
I mean, you guys, that's pretty big. That's pretty big to say that. Is that am I overreaching here? I mean, that's pretty big to say. You know, I think it's time. I mean, that was last night, by the way. That was actually last night. Oh yeah, hold on a second. This is John King. So I'm keeping an eye on the president when he's getting up there. This is John King last night. Listen to this. Holy mackerel. That was, I mean, Van Jones. Yeah, you may love him all you want, but I hate to say it. I hate to break it to you, brother, but yeah, that wasn't good. Let's see what John King has to say here.
minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists, it involves elected officials, it involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call? Because they feel this debate was so terrible.
Wow. That is absolutely huge. Holy macadamia nut. That is huge. So for how long, by the way, let me know in the comments, for how long were we hearing that he's, no, he's sharp as a tack. You lion-ass dogs. You absolute hypocritical. You know what happened is the media got exposed last night. That's who got exposed. You know who got exposed last night? Not Joe Biden. Not even Jill Biden. Not even Hunter Biden. You know who got exposed last night? The leftist pig, hypocritical, fake news. Trump was right all along. The fake news got totally exposed last night for the lying, heathen, hypocritical, dishonest, deceitful, narcissistic, everything that they called Trump. It is a reflection on mainstream media. LA Times, New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, CBS, ABC. You guys are all responsible for that travesty. Because you have been gaslighting us Americans for not months, not even years, for decades. This has been happening for decades. His slow, gradual entrance into the swirl of dementia, this is a process, and it's been happening for a long time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, as a matter of fact, I'm kind of grateful. I'm kind of grateful to Joe Biden for that, because Trump was right. It is the fake news. It is the absolute fake news, and there's no other way around it. Okay, looks like he's showing up here. Hold on a second. Looks like he is showing up. He's coming in. He's coming in. I can't see if they're playing the music. Yeah, I can't have the music because the music will get us flagged. Once he comes up to the stage, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody get ready. He's about to speak. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what he has to say about all this. I just can't wait to hear what he has to say about all this, what he has to say about the debate. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Do you guys think that he's going to be empathetic to Biden, or you think he's going to be kind of fun and loose and kind of cruel? Much deservedly so. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that he's going to be nice and respectful about what happened last night? What are your thoughts? I can't wait to hear this. Let me know in the comments down below. Holy mackerel. He's about to speak. He's about to speak. Everybody tap that thumbs up. Woo! I can't wait to hear this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be fun. Oh, he's on talking right now? Really? Hold on a second. Am I missing it? Well, how come it's not showing here? Hold on a second. Okay, I'm getting a delay. It must be. Are you saying he's on stage right now? Is somebody saying that? I want to go to his official. Excuse me. I want to go to his official YouTube channel. I want to use that feed. That's the feed I want to use. All right, let's see what happens here, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle up.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Virginia. Did anybody last night watch a thing called The Debate?
the late, great Clarence Darrow. Has anyone ever heard of Clarence Darrow? He was known as quite a good debater. Not as good as your governor, but that's okay. Hello, Governor. I can't miss this guy in the crowd. But his son's much better looking than him. Joe Biden's problem is not his age. It's not his anything, really. He's got no problem other than it's his competence. He's grossly incompetent. You know, they keep saying old. I know people that are much older than him that are doing unbelievable things, making a fortune. I knew a man that at 79, he was never a success, and he made $1 billion, $1.5 billion from 79 to 92. And that's what it is. It's not his age, it's his competence. He's not respected anywhere in the world. Our country is being laughed at all over the world. Biden is using the weaponization of his Justice Department, the FBI, local district attorneys and attorneys general to try and win an election against his political opponent. That happens to be me. Do you know who I am? Something that actually was unthinkable in our nation, but which is very common in third world countries or in banana republics. That's what he's doing. He's using law enforcement to try and hurt his political opponent. Every one of those things last night, you saw that, was all started by this guy, this crooked guy. And not only crooked, I mean, just so bad in so many ways. He's killing our country. He's incapable of winning based on his far-left policies of open borders, massive tax increases, the Green New Scam. That's a windmill on every corner, most of which don't work. And things like putting men in women's sports, really not a great idea.
No. Yeah, listen to that.
As every American saw firsthand last night, this election is a choice between strength and weakness, competence and incompetence, peace and prosperity, or war or no war. They like a war. They love wars. You know, they love killing people. It's so wonderful. You know, I'm the only president in many, many decades that didn't start a war. I finished one. I beat ISIS in record time. Woo! As soon as I left, we had the situation where Russia went into Ukraine. They would have never done that. And where Israel's attacked. And then we had inflation. And then we had that horrible, horrible event that took place in Afghanistan. The worst, I think the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's a choice, though, between a president who puts America first or a train wreck who puts America last. They put America last. Actually, the Democrats put America last. You take a look at that. Look at a guy like Senator Schumer. I've always known him. I've known him a long time. I come from New York. I knew Schumer. He's become a Palestinian. He's a Palestinian now. Congratulations. He was very loyal to Israel and to Jewish people. He's Jewish, but he's become a Palestinian because they have a couple of more votes or something. Nobody's quite figured it out. A vote for Joe Biden is a vote for failure, surrender, and disaster for our country. A vote for your all-time favorite president, President Donald J. Trump.
Hello.
Is a vote for stopping Joe Biden's inflation, stopping the border invasion, and very simply making America great again. It will make America great again.
Now we're talking.
You see these beautiful women. I'm not allowed to use the term beautiful as a politician. In fact, it could be the end of my career. If Glenn ever ran against me, he'd say he called women beautiful, and that could be the end of my career. But they're beautiful. What am I going to do? I can't lie. But you see these beautiful women up here? They come from a place called North Carolina. We all love North Carolina.
Hello.
And this is their 127th rally.
Love it.
And it's hard to believe. I seldom see their husbands, but they're happily married. I said, are you all happily married? They love their husbands. You love your husbands? They put up with a lot, huh? No, they're very happily married women, but it's 127. But I'll tell you, front row Joes even have that. They're about 200 and something, right? They must have made a lot of money somewhere along the line. Do my people treat you good? Huh? They better treat you good. Front row Joes, they become very famous. The question every voter should be asking themselves today is not whether Joe Biden can survive a 90-minute debate performance, but whether America can survive 4 more years of crooked Joe Biden in the White House. In fact, I don't know if we can really survive 5 more months. This is the most dangerous time in the history of our country, in my opinion, and we have a transition period because hopefully there has to be a transition. We've never been so close to World War III before, and if it happens, it will be a war like no other. This because of the threat of certain types of weapons. We don't even want to mention the word, but because of the type of weapons that you're talking about today, and I know them better than anybody. You know, I built our military. I totally rebuilt our military. I know more about weapons than just about anybody. And when you look at the incredible destructive power of these weapons, this will be a war like no other. This will not be 2 army tanks running against each other and shooting. This is going to be something the likes of which we've never seen. And we have a man who's grossly incompetent heading up our nation. And he's competing against Putin and President Xi of China and Kim Jong-un of North Korea. He's competing against people that are at the top of their game. And he was never really at the top of his game. He was never very good. But now he's really not good. Last night was a defeat not only for Biden, but for the entire radical left Democrat Party and the fake news media who have been lying to the American people as our country was being destroyed. The fake news media, look at all of them back
You
there.
just called
Look
it.
at all of them.
What did I say? What did I
That's
say?
a lot of cameras. That's a lot of cameras. That's a lot of camera power. The Joe Biden on stage yesterday was the same Joe Biden who gave us open borders, crushing inflation, rampant crime, 2 new wars, a disastrous Afghanistan embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, and the international humiliation. Think of it, one after another, international humiliation, one after another. Nobody respects him. Foreign leaders don't respect him. You know, we put up $124 billion more given to Ukraine than Europe. Now, Europe is a lot closer. We have a thing called an ocean in between us, right? So no matter how you cut it, it's got to be more important. Why is it that we're not equalized? Why is it that they put up $124 billion, our people, these people in Washington that don't know what the hell they're doing? You know, I stopped it with NATO. We were spending almost 100% of the money for NATO. And I went in my first meeting, I realized, I said, you know, they're not paying their bills. They're delinquent. My second meeting, I said, you got to pay. And they said, well, what would happen if we don't? Then we won't defend you against Russia. And the next day, money came in by the billions. You never saw money come in so fast, Glenn. The money was pouring in. And I took a lot of heat, Michael. Oh, there's Mike Waltz. He knows better than anybody on this subject. He's the all-time. He's the all-time. But am I right? The money came in like at a level that was never seen. Hundreds of billions of dollars poured in. And then I took heat from the press because they said, no, I will not defend you if you're not current. And they said, well, that's not very nice. I said, it's not nice. Now, if I said I will, they wouldn't have paid, right? I suspect. But I took a lot of heat. But the fact is the Secretary General called it the greatest. He's never seen anything like it because Bush would come in, make a speech and leave. Obama would come in, make a speech and leave. And then I came in and I didn't make a speech. I just said, these guys aren't paying their bills. They're not paying their bills. I don't want to make a speech until they pay their bills. But they asked me, will you defend us if we don't pay? I said, no, I will not defend you. We're not stupid anymore. And $400 billion came pouring in. You never saw money pouring in so fast. The whole world should know that while Biden is the worst president in the history of America, our country is going to be strong again, and it's going to be very soon. We have a 5-month transition period, and I want the enemies to know, don't play around with us during this 5-month period. Don't play around. It's only for them. It's also in all fairness, we have enemies on the outside, China, Russia, North Korea, enemies, but they're not really enemies if you have a smart president. If you have a smart president, they're not enemies. You'll make them do great. We had no problems. China paid us hundreds of billions of dollars. And it was so because they respected our country. Thank you very much. He said, they respected you. Thank you. Stand up, please. Who said that? Stand up. Because they respected us. You said it better than I could. Thank you. I plagiarized. Thank you. No, they respected us. There was no games. But we have the enemy on the outside, and you can do great things with them. And then we have a worse enemy. I call it the enemy from within. These are the sick people, the socialists. Remember I said, America will never be a socialist country. I was right.
Absolutely.
It skipped over socialism, went directly into fascism and communism. It never stopped at the station called socialism. It went worse. And that's a big problem that we have. But I think you're starting to see the end of that. And it's been starting for a while now with us. But I think last night was a big moment for people with common sense that want to see America be great again, want to put America first.
Talk to him, Trump.
Many people are saying that after last night's performance that Joe Biden is leaving the race. But the fact is, I don't really believe that because he does better in polls than any of the Democrats they're talking about. You've seen that, Glenn. These polls come out with some of the names they're being, like Gavin Newsom. He can't run California. He's one of the worst governors.
Worst.
No, he's a bad governor. He can't run California. People are leaving one of the most beautiful places on earth in terms of weather, in terms of everything else. You can't do any better than California. He's doing a terrible job. But he gets up and he says, oh, California's doing great, pa, 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 like a machine gun, pa, 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 pa. But it's doing bad. People are leaving so fast, and he'd be easy. But he's got lousy poll numbers. And you take a look at some of the others. Then, of course, Kamala is somebody that will be on the scope.
Awful. Ooh.
It might have been Joe Biden's single best decision, putting her as vice president. Might have been his best because nobody wants that. I do. I'd be very happy with that. But they don't poll as well as this guy. I mean, I don't want to speak against myself, but maybe, and they polled everybody. They polled Michelle Obama. She polls very badly. No, she polls terribly. Michelle Obama, people, you know, they polled many people. And it's hard to believe, but crooked Joe Biden polls better than those people. So I don't know what's going to happen. I have absolutely no idea. I just know that we're going to make America great again.
You better believe it. Woo!
That's a good-looking group back there. Better looking than front row Joes. You know what happens? You think they don't have a good seat. They actually have the best seat. Because oftentimes the cameras are on them. The cameras aren't on you. And I'm making a speech and they have all this stuff. It's all over the world. And a lot of them get picked. Would you like to come to Hollywood? You'd be amazed how many people. They see some of these beautiful faces and they say, let's move them to Hollywood. They have the best seat. They don't know it, but they do. Okay, I don't want to point to too many of them. Get myself in trouble. But remember, the biggest problem for our country is not Joe Biden's personal decline. It's that Joe Biden's policies are causing America's decline at a level that we've never seen before. That's why this November, the people of Virginia and the people of America are going to tell crooked Joe Biden, Biden, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. Get out. We don't want you. You've been the worst president in the history of our country. We don't want you. Get the hell out of here.
How do you not love
But we
this guy?
don't just need to fire Biden. As you saw yesterday, the whole Democrat Party deserves to be voted out of office. You have some great people. You have some great people in this state. And the reason I'm honored to be with you, Governor, who's here, just made a really fantastic speech. I saw it coming in. I'm flying in on my plane. I'm watching him speak. I said, what a beautiful crowd that is. But he just made a great speech because what he says turns out to be right. He's got common sense. He's got great policy. He's got the policy that made America great. Now America is in decline because they have people that are going against those basic policies. But he's got the policies that made America great. And I'll call him up. I just said to him, do you want to come up? I know you just spoke for 45 minutes. Will you want to come up? And I said, come on up. You know, so he's going to come up in a couple of seconds. And as far as I'm concerned, he can say it all again. He can say it all again. But we're proud of him. He's done a great job. Time and again, Joe Biden revealed how extreme and divisive the radical left Democrats have become. Before your very eyes, Crooked Joe endorsed unlimited, extreme late-term abortion up to the moment of birth. And even after think of this, and even death after a baby is born. And I always am very clear about this. When I say the governor of Virginia, I always go back and say the former governor, because you don't want to be tied into this. But the former governor, I call him Michael Jackson. Remember? His wife saved him. He was going to moonwalk. He was trying to say why he wore blackface. And he was going to moonwalk across the stage. And that's when his wife finally put down her foot. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're already destroyed us. You've destroyed us. Don't do it. Remember, she stopped him because nobody can moonwalk like Michael Jackson, the greatest people. So this would not have been a pretty scene. But he said that, and you can see it. I mean, they have tapes on it. He said the baby is born. Yes, the baby is born. And then we make a decision on what to do with the baby. Awful. And there's some states that allow that. It's not even believable. But think of that. But Biden celebrates throwing his political opponents in jail. He bragged about surrendering our energy independence and all of the other things that he's done in favor of China and India and other countries. And he claimed that the strength of our economy comes not from hardworking Americans, but from illegal aliens, where almost all of our new jobs have gone to illegal aliens. You know that?
Ooh.
And just remember I said this because this is a disaster waiting to happen. You know, we're doing very well with the Black and Hispanic vote. We're doing very well with the union vote. Like record numbers, because we've done a lot. We've done criminal justice reform. We've saved the historically Black colleges and universities. We had great economic development programs with Tim Scott. Opportunity zones, it's called. It's probably the most successful opportunity. I mean, it's the most incredible thing. And that's gone largely to Black, Hispanic people. It's been great. So we've done a lot. But, you know, the worst thing that's happening to Black, number one, Hispanic, number two, unions, number three, is the millions of people pouring into our country. They're taking their jobs, and they're taking the Black jobs. People that have had their jobs for a long time are losing their jobs. And Hispanic jobs, people that have had them for a long time, they're losing their jobs. And you know who else is the biggest loser? Is going to be the unions. The unions, like the Teamsters. I have such respect for Sean. He's the head of the Teamsters. I don't want to throw around names, but he's a good man. And I don't know, I think, you know, we're at 89% approval within the Teamsters union. And I use Teamsters when I build buildings in Manhattan. They do unbelievable. They take the concrete trucks, and nobody can wheel a truck. These guys are incredible. And, you know, maybe we get lucky. Maybe somebody's smart, you know, when they have 89% approval and then they endorse, because for 50 years they endorse automatically. It's almost like automatic. They endorse the Democrat. But I think maybe the Teamsters go with us. You know, when you have a vast majority on your side, and then the person that did it, Hoffa did it last time, and he ended up getting sort of thrown out of the union. But I think they have some good leadership. I think a lot of unions are coming our way. But these millions and millions of people that are coming from prisons, coming from Prisons and jails, you know, there is a slight difference, okay? They're coming from prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums like Silence of the Lamb. The press always says, why does he ramble about Silence of the Lamb? The late, great Hannibal Lecter, he'd like to have you over for dinner. Did you ever? Don't do it. If he suggests, I'd like to have you for dinner, don't go. But these are the people that are coming into our country, and they're coming in at numbers that nobody can believe. Venezuela has its lowest crime rate in 30 years because they're taking their gang members and they're dropping them into Virginia, but you have a governor that's not letting them stay very long. Woo! But Joe Biden and the Democrats know this, but they're unwilling to do, for whatever reason. I don't understand, for whatever, you know, you always like to understand the other side or your opponent's reasoning. Why would somebody want open borders? Why would somebody want men playing in women's sports? Why would somebody want 100% electric vehicles and they don't go far? They're too expensive. And you know what? They have a place. Elon is a friend of mine. He probably doesn't like me too much with what I say, but they have a great place for a certain application. But you don't want 100%. They've made so many. They've spent trillions of dollars on subsidies. You ever notice that the car companies aren't selling cars, but they seem to be very happy? You know why? Because they're getting massive amounts of subsidy from the government. Normally, they'd all be out of business because they're not selling cars. They're making far more electric vehicles than you need. But they do have a place. They have a great place, but it's 9%, 7%, 8%. You have hundreds of thousands of unsold cars. This would be a great time for you to go buy an electric vehicle. But the car companies normally would be losing their shirt. But this stupid, stupid, stupid man that we have is giving massive subsidies. He's given massive subsidies to windmills all over the country that are ruining our beautiful plains, our beautiful land, our beautiful oceans. Whales aren't exactly in love with them. How about in New Jersey, where they had one whale in 50 years that washed up to shore, and last year they had 18. Would you say there's something going on? Little. They had one whale in 50 years. Last year they had 18. That's a lot. And happening more. It does something to them. It drives them crazy. Joe Biden's radical left Democrat Party is now the party of open borders, massive tax hikes, the destruction of Social Security. They are destroying your Social Security, because these millions of people are coming in. They're giving them Social Security. Do you believe this? They're destroying it. They're the party of endless wars, weaponization of law enforcement, lies, hoaxes, and corruption. They're corrupt people. The Republican Party is now the party for all Americans because the Republican Party is the party of common sense. Common sense.
Yes.
And in the wake of all these Biden disasters, it's time for our country to finally come together so that our whole nation can win together once again. We're going to win together. We're going to bring our country together with success. Our country, pre-COVID, we had a country that was rocking and rolling like no country in the history of the world. And everybody wanted to come together. It was going to unify. I was getting calls from people that I would have said were radical left, serious radical left, Democrats. They wanted to come. They wanted to have lunch. And then we got the gift from China, COVID, the China virus, as we more accurately call it. And we did a great job. You know, we were recognized for doing great economy. We started no wars. We rebuilt our military. We got the greatest tax cuts in history, greater than the Reagan tax cuts many years before. The greatest, we had the greatest cuts in regulation of any country and of this country. Nobody has even come within 25, 30% of what we did. We cut regulations at a level that nobody ever saw before. And, you know, when I went to the big companies and the small companies, and I'd say, which was more important, the biggest tax cuts in history or the biggest regulation cuts in history? I have never heard one person say the tax cuts. They'd say the regulation cuts were more important. People couldn't build. They couldn't do anything. They were just stagnated. We had a case in Louisiana where an LNG plant, it was stuck in 14 years of traffic. They couldn't get their environmental permits. I got them in one day when I came into office, one day. And they built They built a $15 billion, this is like 3 Empire State Buildings rolled over and put together. This was the longest thing I've ever seen, made up of like all pipes. And I said, what the hell? But it was a $15 billion project and they couldn't get it done. I got it done in one day. I took all the things. I said, let's get it done. And then we got 2 of the other ones done and they're doing unbelievable business. And it was foreign money being poured into the United States. They would have never gotten it approved. And we have many such plants, different types, but plants will never get approved. And all they do is produce good things for us and lots of jobs. And in Virginia, we're doing that too. We're working with your government to get a lot of things approved that you thought would never happen. And we'll get them done very, very quickly. But with these guys, you'll never get them done. You'll never get them done. They don't have any clue. All they know is electric. They want electric army tanks. They want electric planes. What happens if the sun isn't shining while you're up in the air? Well, sir, I told you there'd be problems, sir. No, they want electric everything. They want electric boats. The problem, the boats, they don't float because the battery is so heavy, it sinks the boat. They say, we don't care. We want them anyway. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, young or old, black, brown, or white, we welcome you to our movement and ask for your help and your partnership in making America the strongest, most magnificent country again anywhere in the world.
Let's go.
As I said last night, I'm not in this race for me. I'm in this race for the sake of our country. I told him last night, I wish you were a great president. I wouldn't even be here.
Right.
I wouldn't have been indicted more than Al Capone. Al Capone was indicted one time. He was a killer. If he took you, see the guy standing up? See that guy? I don't know who the hell he is, but if Al Capone took him to dinner, he'd say, he's so obnoxious, kill him. He'd say, kill him. He'd be dead, and then the cops were afraid to investigate him. They say, Al Capone did it? I'm not interested in looking at that. He'd be at the bottom of a foundation of a nice big building. And I got indicted more than Alphonse Capone, Scarface. Can you believe it? And it's all been because of Biden. But I said to him, I wish you were the greatest president because I wouldn't have run. I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't. Look, it was rigged. The election was totally rigged, but I wouldn't have run. If he were a great president, I'd say, you know what? If he's doing a great job, that's so important. I wouldn't have run, and I wouldn't have been going through all this stuff. But I wouldn't be here with you, and I'm enjoying this. This is better than sitting home watching television.
Hello.
This is much better. This is better than being on some magnificent island that I own and enjoying the fruits of life. This is much better standing out here at 100-degree weather. Global warming. Every time it turns a little slightly warm, it's global warming. It's global. The planet is going to hell. What about those people that used to say we have 12 years, in which case we're all gone? That ended about 5 years ago. We keep waiting. No, he said last night, he loves his word. It's an existential threat. Existential. He has no idea what the hell the word means. I was going to ask him. But he said it again last night, that global warming is an existential threat. And I say that the thing that's an existential threat is not global warming, where the ocean will rise, maybe, and it may go down also, but it may rise 1/8 of an inch in the next 497 years, they say. 1/8, which gives you a little bit more waterfront property if you're lucky enough to own. No, that's not the threat. You know what the threat is? That's the threat, Joe Biden. It's a threat. Now, the threat is weaponry. The threat is nuclear weapons, okay? The threat is nuclear warming. That can happen tomorrow. We have 6 countries out there with massive nuclear capability. He doesn't mention it. I watch these people talking about global warming, and they don't use that now. They use climate change because global warming was no good because it was actually getting cooler. So they used to have in the 1920s, they thought the planet was going to freeze. They had a thing, global cooling. They had a picture, I think it was on Time magazine, of the Earth, very cool. In the 1920s, it was a global cooling thing. But now they got smart. It's climate change. Because climate change, if it goes warm, it's good. If it goes cool, it doesn't matter what. If it rains, if it snows, if you have more tornadoes or less tornadoes, You know, I read about some bad tornadoes, and we do have bad tornadoes. But the worst tornado was in 1987. The worst tornado was in the 1800s. They say 1857 ripped the hell out of the country. In 1893, we had a series of tornadoes that made these look like babies. Now, that's only reporting, you know, who knows, but they were very serious. It's cold weather. The risk is weaponry. The risk is nuclear warming, and we have to be careful. And we need our smartest people to head this up. My uncle was a professor at MIT, the longest serving professor in the history of MIT, Dr. John Trump. And Dr. John Trump told me many years ago, I was a little boy, just like that beautiful kid over there. I wasn't as good looking as him, but other than that, but I was the same age. And you know what? He told me, I say, what do you mean, Uncle John? No, someday he knew nuclear better than anybody. You know, when he graduated from MIT, they said, would you do us a favor? What? Become a professor. And because he was so smart. And he said, well, I'd like to think about it. But he did. And he was there for 41 years. He's the longest serving professor in the history of MIT. He used to tell me about nuclear many years ago when I was a little boy. He said, someday you'll have a bomb that can do destruction, the likes of which nobody can even imagine. And I won't tell you what he said in terms of the power, but he would say just that. And then he'd go into some more details. And I said, no way, Uncle John. No way. No, he said, yes, that will be. And he was very worried about it. That's your threat, and we don't even talk about it. We never even met. Can you imagine this guy saying global warming is the greatest threat to our country? Global warming
Not even close.
is fine. In fact, I heard it was going to be very warm today. It's fine. It's fine. I believe that, and we were united. I'll tell you, during that period of time, just prior to COVID coming in, I was with Tony Fabrizio and John McLaughlin, two of the great pollsters, and there are good pollsters. You know, we have a lot of fake pollsters, like we have a lot of fake news. They are fake news in a sense. But by the way, did you see, we had a poll last week, Rasmussen, which is a good poll. That's only good because I like them. You know, they happen to be good. If they were bad, like 2 months from now, I'd say they're terrible. But the Rasmussen poll is a big deal. It's a really good poll, and they have us up 10 points on this guy. 10 points. That's pretty good. And a friend of mine who's very smart, but he's not really into politics, he said, could I ask you a question? Why is 10 points good? You mean he's going to get 40 points? I said, you have to understand the Democrats basically get 40 points. It doesn't matter. If this lectern was running for office, it would get 40.
Yeah.
Actually, Joe, that's true. They get 40 automatically. The Republicans have to do it the old-fashioned way. We have to earn it. We have to do like in 2016. We have to do really like 2020. You know, we got many millions of more votes in 2020 than we got in 2016. We did actually much better. But it was rigged. What are you going to do? But you know what? We're not going to let that happen again. We're not letting that happen. They used COVID to cheat. They did everything possible to cheat. And Hillary Clinton said, why didn't you do that to me? Why didn't you find those votes for me like you found for Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe? Ready? Poll. What's a better name? I go Crooked Joe first, and then Crooked Joe Biden or Sleepy Joe Biden. Ready? Crooked Joe first. Who likes Crooked Joe Biden first?
I like Sleepy. I like Sleepy. Sleepy or Crooked?
Okay. Who likes Sleepy Joe Biden?
Yeah. He's sleepy because he is sleepy.
Similar. Okay, let's do it again. Crooked Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe Biden. Crooked. The other time, last week I did that. You know, I like saving money. You go to these pollsters, they interview. I don't even think they interview them, if you want to know the truth. I think they just say they interview because they make money. I don't even think they interview them. But they say they interview like 243 people, and they tell you what's going to happen with the race, right? And then they want to charge you $500,000. Politicians know this. And I come to these rallies and I do my own polls. We have 25,000 people or something here today. I get a free poll. It's a free poll. Okay, here's another one. Who likes Governor Glenn Youngkin?
Oh, yeah.
That's the end of that. I don't know who to put against him because there's nobody going to win. Anyway, well, you're right. But we were a truly united country, and I believe that
Both.
we can be a very great country again. It's going to be stronger. It's going to be more glorious. It's going to be better than ever. We're going to make our country better than ever. Our mission must start with restoring safety to America. One of the most disturbing lies out of Crooked Joe's mouth in our debate last night was when he denied anything having to do with the border. Anything having to do with the border. He said the border is such a lovely place, letting massive numbers of terrorists pour into our country. Just 2 days ago, news reports revealed that while Biden was taking his 10-day rest and study period, it was a rest and study. Where is he going to be? I love Camp David, by the way. I'm not a rustic person. I don't love rustic look, but I loved it. You had to see this place. I started to love it. Very seductive. You go up these log cabins. They're so beautiful, the best. And I'd see FDR, pictures of FDR and pictures of the great presidents. And it was so historic and so incredible. But I'm not sure he has any idea what the history is. He just likes a log cabin. He wants to lock himself in. He wants a place to sleep, okay? Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. I want to sleep. I'm studying for the debate. I want to sleep and study. That's all I'm going to do for 10 days while the world is going to hell.
Yeah, exactly.
But he had a study
Who's running
period
the
at Camp
country?
David. While more than 50 terrorists, 55 to be exact, were running into the United States after Biden allowed them to cross our wide open southern border. Crooked Joe has no idea where they are, what kind of slaughter they intend to commit, but you will bet anything. ISIS terrorists, 55 of them last week. ISIS terrorists, the worst in the world. By the way, I defeated ISIS. You know that. With General Kane, right? Raisin Kane. You know that story. Raisin Kane. He was great, great general, real general,
Yes,
not the
Lisa.
television.
Well,
We have a
way
lot
to
of
say that.
television generals.
Well
They're no
said.
good. Like Milley. How about Milley? We had some, like the dumbest of them all, General Kelly. He didn't know. He was lost in the White House. That poor guy didn't know what the hell was happening. He was like we used to call him a lost soul. Under the Trump administration, we will not rest until we have found every single radical Islamic terrorist who Joe Biden has let into America. We will arrest them or we will throw them the hell out of our country immediately, and we will not let them back in. We have no choice. And already Biden's open border nightmare has stolen countless innocent lives. Yesterday in Houston, you read about this. 12-year-old Jocelyn Nunguri was laid to rest by her grieving mother, who I spoke to yesterday. Incredible woman, just devastated. Literally, I was going up to the debate, and I got the return call from the mother. And I talked to her, and they're screaming at me, "Sir, you're going to the debate. You're going right now, sir." You know, and I'm on the phone, and I said, "I can't. I might be late." But that's okay. But I said, I will. I did talk to her, and then I said, I'll speak to you, and I'm going to call her today or tomorrow. A devastated person. She was a devastated person, but her precious daughter became yet another victim of the Biden migrant crime. People that would have never come in here. In fact, a lot of these people that you're reading about, we threw them out. They were gone, and they came back under Biden. Last week, Jocelyn was savagely tied up, viciously assaulted, and brutally murdered by 2 Biden migrants who Crooked Joe released into the United States to prey on our women and girls. One of these monsters waited just 20 days before ending Jocelyn's beautiful American life. Crooked Joe proved last night he has no regret, no remorse, had no idea who she was, no empathy and no compassion for all the innocent victims whose lives have been just absolutely destroyed. And you look at so many of the other young people that you're hearing about, so many of them are young, 13, 12, raped and killed. 13 years old, 12 years old, raped and killed. And remember this, I say this a lot, this is just starting because they're just getting comfortable in the country. They never heard about politically correct law enforcement. We have the greatest police in the world, but they're not allowed to do their job. And we're going to let them do their job. And we're going to give them immunity so they can't be prosecuted for doing their job. Joe Biden inherited a great border because I fixed it. Remember, I fixed it in 2016. I got elected because of the border. But that border was nothing compared to what we have. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But I fixed it. It was a big deal. And I would say it was probably one or two in terms of my points that I had a lot of things. But the border was a big deal. It was a bad border. I fixed it so much so that I couldn't even speak about it during the 2020 race because nobody cared about it anymore because it was fixed. So he inherited a perfect border and he proceeded to destroy it almost immediately. He destroyed it at a level that nobody could even believe, but many times worse than it was in 2016. I'd love, I have a chart. I don't know if these guys don't know about this, but I have a chart that if they could find it, put it up, because there's one little stat on this chart. Oh, wow. These guys have become good. It used to take a day to get that chart. They'd say, sir, we'll have it up tomorrow. I said, tomorrow's not going to help me, Glenn. So you see the arrow, Glenn, on the bottom. See the arrow, the big red arrow on the bottom. That's the lowest level of illegal immigration ever in recorded history right there. That's the week that I left office. And look what happened after that.
Huge.
Look at the numbers on the right. Look at what happened after that.
Fake news
So
media
that
won't
was the
show it.
lowest level, and then it started marching upward. But what you don't see are the drugs were at the lowest level in 32 years. The human trafficking, mostly in women. They traffic in women. And that's now back at a level that we've never even seen or imagined before. But I love that chart. That chart is just a small chart in with other numbers like poll numbers and things that are so impressive, even fundraising. We raised more money after this crooked trial than we've ever raised, I think, than any candidate. I think we raised over $400 million. Can you believe it? I would say if we did 10 million, it would be a lot during this period. 10 million's a lot of money. They raised over $400 million during this very short period of time, a little period of time. If we would have done like 8 or 9 or 10, it would have been great. But they did numbers that because everyone knows they're a bunch of crooked people. These are crooked people using justice to try and win an election. But I'm proud of that chart. It was in with other things that are very important. But there's something about the importance of this that I really thought we could show it. And sometimes we'll take it out, show it to some of these big crowds. When I return to the White House, we will stop the plunder, rape, slaughter, and destruction of American suburbs, cities, and towns. And for the suburban women, who I actually think vote for me, I think that's, they say. They say the suburban women. What do you like? You saw Biden. You like Biden? Yeah. The suburban women. You know why they like me? Because I'm going to keep them safe. I'm going to keep them safe. We're going to keep them safe. And I think it's fake. I think we do great with suburban women, but I always read, he's trying to get the suburban women. No, I think they like me because I'm going to keep them safe. Militarily and also from the standpoint of borders and everything else, we will shut down deadly sanctuary cities. I will shift massive portions of federal law enforcement to immigration enforcement. And on day one, we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country.
Woo!
And we have no
now
choice.
We're talking.
Have no choice. And as we discussed last night with Crooked Joe, the Biden border invasion has also been a disaster. And I say it, and I'll say it again, for the African-American, Hispanic-American communities more than anybody else. Virtually all of the net jobs created have gone to Biden migrants. Who would think that? I heard that a week ago. I said, you got to give me that stat. Almost every job, did you know that? It's hard to believe, actually. Almost every new job has gone to illegal immigrants. Joe Biden wants to be the president for illegal aliens, and I want to be the president for Americans of every background, every walk of life, every race, religion, color, and creed. And remember, Joe Biden used the term super predators. He used it for 10 years. He used it more than anybody else. That's not a man that likes black people. I will tell you, that's not a man. Super predator. Ask him about it. I brought it up last night. He went, oh. Super predator, ask him. And honestly, only black people know what that term represents. 1990s, Joe Biden, super predator for 10 years. Every day, More African Americans and Hispanic Americans are joining our movement, and that's one of the major reasons that we're going to win the Commonwealth of Virginia this fall. And our case to Virginia is very simple. We will seal the border. We will make the American dream affordable again, but we will bring back the American dream, something you don't hear about anymore. You're going to have the American dream back. Working with your great governor, Glenn Youngkin, we will make Virginia greater than it has ever been before. Under my leadership, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world. That was proven time and time again. During my term, we had gasoline down to $1.87 a gallon. And by the way, take a look at gasoline. It's going up rapidly. Do you see what's going on? That's going up. And by the end, the 30-year mortgage, think of this, was 2.6%. It was 2.6% interest. And you know what it is now? It's 10%, but you can't get the money. So the American dream of owning a house is impossible. When I left office, inflation was almost nothing. How about this guy going around saying it was 9%? No, it was 9% when he didn't enter. About 14 months after he got in, he had to go from almost nothing to 9%. But he had a period where he had what they call the Trump float. He had all the good things, including the bounce back jobs that they took. They said all these pandemic jobs, we said, close it down, do whatever you want. And then when it opens, they're called bounce back jobs. And they bounce back to bigger than where it was before. He takes the credit for it. You don't take credit for a bounce back. Joe Biden accidentally admitted last night, quote, there was no inflation when I became president. He made a mistake. That was where I said, did you mean that, Joe? You mean you're... Now, Virginia families are being crushed by Crooked Joe. You can't afford groceries, rent, a house, a car payment, or anything else. I think your real rate of inflation, by the way, they say 24, 25%. I think if you really add the right items and you include interest where you can't get a mortgage, but if you do, you're going to pay much more than 10%. I think your rate of inflation is 35 to 50%, and that's killing this country. It's a country buster. It's a family buster. It's busting up everything. We have the highest inflation, in my opinion, in the history of our country.
Yeah.
In fact, Biden didn't have inflation for the first, so he didn't have it for many, many months because I gave him something that was beautiful. I gave him a clean, beautiful border. All he had to do is leave Tom Homan and leave these great people, you know, Brandon Judd, great. Oh, and he had a news conference today because Biden last night used his name in vain. He said, I never supported Biden and I never would. He said, I support Trump. I don't support Biden. He has no support. He doesn't have support from one police group anywhere in the country. Frankly, he's a defunder. If you want to know, defund the police. That's another brilliant policy that they have. And then like a nightmare, it all began. But on day one of my new administration, we will throw out Bidenomics and we will replace it. We are going to replace it with Maganomics. 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 To stop Bidenflation, I will end Joe Biden's colossal waste of American taxpayer dollars, and I will rapidly terminate a thing called the Green New Scam. It's the greatest scam in the history of our country. We're spending trillions and trillions of dollars on nonsense, on things that all they do is cause waste and inflation. I will repeal every disastrous Biden regulation. He's adding them back as fast as he can, killing our jobs. Cancel Crooked Joe's insane electrical, think of it, the electric vehicle mandate. It's called the EV mandate. And we will do something like we've never done it before, although we did it pretty good 5 years ago. You know, 5 years ago, we were totally non-reliant on oil and gas from other countries. We were going to soon be energy dominant. We were going to be sending it out to Europe, all over the world. Nobody had ever seen anything like it. And then this guy ended it. Then prices went up and he started saying, oh, let him drill, let him drill. But if this election went bad, our country is going to be destroyed. But they will go back to that policy on the day after it opens up. And you're going to have electric bills that will be triple what they are now, because when we get in, we're going to have a very simple phrase. We will drill, baby, drill. We're going to
Yes.
drill, baby, drill.
Yes. Everybody type drill, baby, drill in the comments.
Think of it. 4 years ago, we were energy independent. Now we're begging Venezuela, one of the safest places on earth. It's true. No, their crime rate is down to the lowest that they've ever had. Their crime rate is down 72% because they've taken all of their criminals, they've taken all of their prisoners, they've taken all of their drug lords, drug dealers, they've taken all of their gang members and brought them to the United States of America. Congratulations. Congratulations, everybody. And they brought them in, so their crime rate is, wait, you have here, the crime is down 72%. They've taken their criminals and they deposited, and then they just got up 2 weeks ago and said, under no circumstances will we take any of them back. So here's what we're going to do. Next year, we're all going to meet as a group. And if this guy, it's not even conceivable that he's in. I hate to even want to suggest it. Let's say in a few months we'll do this. We're going to meet again. We're going to meet in Venezuela because it's the safest place on earth. You know, in Caracas, a year ago, 2 years ago, you had no chance of walking across the street if you were a woman without being accosted, beat up, shot, knifed to death. Now it's a very safe city because they've moved everybody into the United States of America. How stupid are we? How stupid are we? And their crime rates way down. And all over the world, prison population, the prison populations are down. And the fake news, look at them all over back there. The fake news doesn't want to talk about it. They say Donald Trump has a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy. No, it's not conspiracy. And by the way, if I were one of the presidents or dictators, as I call them, most of them are dictators, but they go under the term president. But I know them all very well. I would have been doing better than them. I would have had 100% over in this country by now. They're emptying their prisons. You know what that is? They're emptying their mental institutions into our country. Do you know the money they save? The money is massive. And we have all the problems. Nothing good is going to come out. And we have ISIS terrorists. We have terrorists pouring into our country. Just bad, bad things are going to happen. And it's all because of this incompetent president, the worst president in history. If he gets back in, Joe Biden has also vowed to pulverize Virginia families with the largest tax hikes in history. Congratulations. He pledged that the Trump tax cuts are, quote, going to expire. And if I'm elected, it's going to stay expired. That means he's going to raise your taxes by 4 times. This would be the largest. You know that, Len. He wants to give you the largest tax increase in the history of our country. It's going to decimate Virginia, and it's going to decimate
all those migrants.
Every state, and it's not his fault.
We have to pay for all the migrants.
You'll have to take the heat. Maybe that's what they're doing. You'll have to take the heat. But they want to decimate because those tax cuts went more to the middle class and the lower class than to anybody else, and the creation of jobs. But instead of a Biden tax increase, I will deliver a Trump, and call it a Trump middle class tax cut. And all of my life, I said it last night, I've watched as politicians cut taxes. This guy wants to raise your taxes by 4 times, and people say, oh, let's vote for him. I don't know. They don't use the term liberal anymore. They use the term progressive, you know, because it's a nice sounding word. I'm a progressive, but it's not a good word. It's a really bad word. And we will have a brand new Trump economic boom. We're going to cut taxes. So we cut taxes substantially, massively, the biggest tax. And with a lower rate, we did much more business, much more revenue than we had before the cuts. In other words, we just did better. And Apple and Microsoft, all these companies were bringing their money back from offshore countries, from other countries. They were bringing it back into the United States because they essentially weren't allowed to from a practical standpoint because the tax was so high and the bureaucracy of doing it was almost impossible, they say. So we're going to do more tax cutting. And we're going to have this country at a level that you've never seen it before. And we're going to, you know, underfoot, under the ground, we have more liquid gold, oil and gas than any country on earth.
Drill, baby, drill.
We had a thing called ANWR in Alaska. Ronald Reagan wanted to get it approved. He couldn't do it. Everybody wanted to get it approved. I got it approved. The first week of Biden, they disapproved it. The greatest reserves, they say, outside of perhaps Saudi Arabia, could be greater than Saudi Arabia. Would have been so great for Alaska, but would have been great for this country. Massive, massive oil reserves. And they turned it down. These people are horrible. I've announced that as part of those tax cuts, I will eliminate all taxes on tips. A very simple statement. No taxes on tips. I got that idea the other night. I'm in Las Vegas at my place, which is a very nice place, having dinner with some people, big people, successful people, talking about the future of the country, and they're very worried about it. And the waitress came over. I said, how are you doing? Been there for a long time. And she said, they're killing me on tips. I said, really? They go after? He said, you have no idea. They just issued new regulations that make it impossible for us to live. And I was actually surprised to hear it. No taxes on tips. Woo! And when I announced that last week, you know, my phone's lit up. I never saw anything like that. That was a very popular thing to announce, but it's a good thing. You earn the money, you keep the money. Every time you leave a tip for the next 5 months, make sure to write on the receipt, vote for Trump for no taxes on tips. It's no wonder Joe Biden and his thugs are so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones who can stop them. A great thing just happened a few hours ago. You probably heard about it, but maybe you didn't, because some of you have been standing online for 3 days. Do you know that? These people, right? They've been online for 3 days to get into your place, Glenn. This is crazy. You must have heard that Glenn is going to be here with his superstar son. We do, right? Don't we? I think he's great. He's doing great. But just this happened a few hours ago. The Supreme Court ruled that Biden's Department of Justice has wrongly prosecuted hundreds of Americans for peacefully protesting on January 6th. Wow. Those people have been treated so badly, especially when you compare them with people that ripped apart and killed people in Portland and in Seattle and in other places. They have been treated so badly. So we're asking, based on the decision, they should immediately be released, immediately, the J6 hostages.
Yeah.
But all of these people, whether it's the thugs in Portland, the thugs of Seattle, the thugs of Minneapolis, how about Minneapolis? It was burning down. Remember the guy from CNN? Although I shouldn't knock CNN, because I actually thought they treated me very fairly last night. Very professional, both of them. Jake and Dana, they treated us very fairly. They abused me for years, but last night, right? What happened? They treated me very fairly. I think it's great. I think it was great for them. It was great for CNN, but I thought they were very fair. But all of those thugs, and then you take the monument-wrecking thugs of Washington, D.C. Remember, they came into Washington, and, you know, you thought maybe there was a little bit of a racial anger. But then they wanted to take down the statue of Abraham Lincoln. I'm saying, what's this all about?
Ridiculous.
But they only wanted to do things until I got tough with them and imposed a 10-year jail sentence on anyone for so much as touching any one of our magnificent monuments. And it was amazing to watch them flee the city. They fled. They fled the city very rapidly from that moment on. You know, I brought out an old law that had been done in the early 1900s, and it said that if you touch a statue, you get a maximum fine of 10 years in jail. And you can't do anything about it. It's 10 years in jail, and that's it. So I reinstated that law. You could never have a law like that passed today because it's too tough. They don't do things. Until the country's really in trouble, they won't do things. But I took it out. I reenacted it. And as soon as I did, in other words, 10 years in jail if you get caught doing anything to one of our beautiful monuments or statues. They fled Washington. It was a beautiful sight. I watched them go up. Look at them go. Look at them go. No, because it's what they understand. But based on the Supreme Court, the great Supreme Court, we put 3 incredible justices on. They had, I understand, another 3, and they did the right thing. Free the J6 hostages now. They should free them now for what they've gone through.
Yeah, I mean, tearing down our monuments is awful.
They've been waiting for this decision for a long time. They've been waiting for a long time, and that was a great answer. That was a great thing for people that have been so horribly treated. So many of these people were told to go in, right? The police, go in, go in, go in. What's going on? And they put them in jail for years and years. All of their persecution is only happening, and all of it has happened to me because I'm running for president and leading very substantially in all of the polls, every single poll. We're leading in every state. We're even leading in the state, or as you would say, the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Virginia, baby.
No, we're leading in the Commonwealth, and I'm glad I corrected that, right? If I didn't correct it, well, they'll put it on tonight. They'll have it cut just prior to, they'll cut it just prior to. Now, the Commonwealth is great, but we're leading, and it could be a very substantial lead, but we have one poll with 2 up, another one with 3 up, another one with 4 up, one we're even, but that was a very Democrat poll. I don't believe that. But we're going to make Virginia greater than ever before. I hope you get out and do this, because these people are destroying our country.
Yep.
As you saw last night, it's all coming straight from Crooked Joe himself, because he thinks it's the only way that he can win. All of this persecution of people, it's all coming from Joe Biden and his thugs, because I'm not even sure he knows what the hell's going on. But he's surrounded by vicious thugs.
That's what he said last night.
He's surrounded by fascists and communists. But since the show trial in New York, my poll numbers have increased so substantially, nobody's seen anything like it. And I think last night will not detract from that. And fundraising, as I said, is at an all-time high. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 200. Think of this. They rigged the election in 2020 like nobody's ever seen before. And we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election in 2024. We're not going to allow it to happen. And every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists, every time they indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor, because I'm being indicted for you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom, because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me, because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me. They're after you. I just happen to be standing in their way, and I always will. So we're thrilled to be joined today by many outstanding Virginia patriots, great people, including the next senator from the Commonwealth of Virginia, Hung Kao. Woo! He's going to be, I think he's going to be great. You're going to win. What do you think? Is he going to win, Glenn? You're going to help him? We got to help. Hey, Glenn, should we have him come up for a second? Come on up. We got to get him to win. Because let me tell you, his opponent is terrible. He's just terrible. Hung is a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy, and he served with special operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Somalia. He was one of the most brave guys. They talk about it. He's become a legend, and that's why he's running. And now he's running to fight for the hardworking people of Virginia. Hung Kao will vote to secure our borders, stop Joe Biden's inflation nightmare, and crack down on violent crime. He will vote for low taxes, low regulations, and low energy prices. And he is a warrior. He'll support our police and our veterans. And most importantly, Hung Kao will defeat a terrible senator, a man who's got very little respect in Washington, D.C. His name is Tim Kaine. Nobody respects him. They call him a walking mat. He votes for anything Biden wants. He's got a 100% record of voting for Crooked Joe. Tim Kaine has voted repeatedly to continue Joe Biden's border invasion. I don't know how you people, this is killing you, and yet this guy votes all the time to keep it going. Tim Kaine. Let the people pour into our country, even if they're criminals, even if they're mental patients. He voted to protect deadly sanctuary cities. He voted for the largest proposed amnesty plan and tax plan in American history. He voted against Kate's law to, think of that, how do you vote against Kate's law? And he voted to terminate Title 42. He voted to give illegal aliens taxpayer-funded benefits, the likes of which nobody has ever seen, including our great veterans. Virginia cannot afford 6 more years of Tim Kaine and his open borders agenda. Everybody's got to get out and vote for Hung Cow. I love this name.
Hung Cow.
He is really going to be great. Say a few words, please.
Mr. President, the only person better off today than they were 4 years ago is an illegal alien. We're going to fight for America. We're going to put Americans first, like we always have, with your leadership, sir.
Go get him.
He's so good.
He's going to win.
I like that guy. If you like that guy, give me a thumbs up.
He's got a serious handshake. Well, I'm sorry, but I think my hand may be broken. He's a tough cookie.
How do you not
That's
love
a serious handshake you have. Thank you. You're going to win. You're going to win. A lot of people are going to win that nobody's thinking of. And, it's amazing what's happening. What's happening is really amazing. But this is a guy who's going to win. And you're going to be proud of him for many, many years. We're also grateful to be joined by the governor of this magnificent Commonwealth. His name happens to be Glenn Youngkin, and he's one of the greatest governors in the country. And I know he just spoke, but I'd love to have him come up and say a few additional words. Thank you very much.
Get up there, Glenn.
Thank you. Here we go.
Okay, Virginia, are you ready to win? Mr. President, this is the best Trump rally that you have ever had, and you're doing it in Virginia. And yes, on behalf of 8.7 million Virginians, Mr. President, we are going to go to work and get you back in the White House.
I like it. Short and sweet.
He really is. He's a great governor doing an incredible job, and we appreciate it.
I agree,
He's
Lisa.
also a tall governor.
It's
Very
TDS.
tall governor.
It's TDS.
The only one I know taller is my son, Barrett. That kid is tall. And he's a good boy, and he sees this country, and it distresses him when he sees what's happening at a young age. People understand. Smart people understand. But I want to thank the governor for the great job he's done in the Commonwealth. It's done an incredible job.
Let's get our country back,
everybody's talking about it, too. Thanks as well to Virginia Attorney General Jason Mears. Jason Mears. Where's Jason? Come on, Jason, let's go. What the hell is a Friday? Come on. Come on, Jason. I hear great things. All I know is Glenn tells me he's doing a great job as Attorney General. I don't have to hear anymore. That's the one that matters. Come on, Jason.
Well, I first, as the Attorney General, as a top law enforcement official in the Commonwealth, I have to say, Mr. President, after seeing last night's debate, I instructed my adult abuse investigators to investigate the DNC for forcing Joe Biden to run for president.
Hey, Wayne, good to see
So
you
when
on
we talk
Facebook.
about what's at stake at this election, it's 3 simple initials. USA.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General. Is everybody having a good time?
Yeah.
So one of the great congressmen, a person who knows more about our military, I think, than maybe anybody. He's from a wonderful state known as Florida, and he's highly respected by everybody he knows. Just a real professional, and he hates seeing what he's seeing because he sees our country, a nation in decline is what he sees, and it's very sad to watch, but we're going to turn it around. Congressman Michael Waltz. Thank you, Michael. Great job. And Michael would agree that Congresswoman Jen Kiggins is a fantastic talent, a fantastic woman. Where is she? She is doing a great job. Thank you very much, Jen. Thank you. Great job. Everyone tells me, look, Secret Service won't let her up. Secret Service, they're tough. They don't play games. Thank you very much, Jen. We appreciate it. Thank you. A man who was treated very unfairly by the thugs, the same thugs that we're going to dethrone, like a deranged Jack Smith. He's a deranged person.
Oh, yeah, he is.
How's he doing? I don't think he's doing so well. He's a deranged person, but he gave a man named Bob McDonnell, your former governor, he gave him a very unfair, they all did. They gave him a very unfair treatment, but Bob has done incredibly well. He went through it, and he's a great guy. Former Governor Bob McDonnell. Thank you very much. The deranged one we have. You're not a fan. You're not a fan of those guys, right? And now Bob showed them for what they are. Former governor and a really wonderful senator and a good guy and a friend of mine, George Allen. George, thank you. Thank you, George. I knew his father very well, and his father was a great coach. He was really a good coach. He knew how to win, right? He knew how to win. Former Governor Jim Gilmore. Jim, thank you. Thank you, Jim. Congressional nominees, Lori, buck out, Lori. Thank you. Good luck. Oh, you're going to do well. You're scheduled to win. They have you down. Another one scheduled to win, Derek Anderson. Good. You're going to do great. We're going to get it. He's running against one of the Vindman twins. Vindman, is that correct? The Vindman twins. These are the worst people. You got to win that race, Derek. They are the worst people. They reported a false conversation. They made up a story about a certain conversation that was false. And they act like they're hot stuff. They're not. All they have to do is look in the mirror and they'll realize. And look at this guy. He's like a movie star, right? Look at this guy. No, the brothers, they're twins. And I heard one is worse than the other. I think you're running against the worst one. We're going to fight for you. You got to win that race. You got to teach the Vindmans. We got to get them out. And another man who started a little bit down to somebody, I won't mention his name. I will not mention his name. Bob Good, I won't mention his name. And Bob Good was terrible to me for 3 years. And I used to say, who is this guy? And then for the last 6 months, he was great. But I couldn't forget the 3 years, so I had to make a decision. And we had a man named John McGuire, who was a Navy SEAL. And, you know, I know a lot of tough guys, and they wanted to be Navy SEALs. It was their dream to be a Navy SEAL. That's all they thought about. And in many cases, like sons of friends of mine, they want to be a Navy SEAL. They couldn't get there. It's a very tough thing to do. It's really tough. Guys at the perfect physical specimens, everything great, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And this guy is a full-fledged Navy SEAL at the highest level. And he beat an opponent who was a leader, a big leader in the House, a Republican leader. And Bob McGuire, you're going to have a great race. You're going to win, and you are a hero. Thank you very much. That was amazing. That was amazing. It was an honor to endorse him. You know, he started off, not a lot of people knew him. I endorsed him, and he went up 27 points. And he ended up winning by, like, doesn't matter, a few hundred votes. We'll take it. Doesn't matter. 2 votes is okay, too. What a great campaign you ran. Congratulations. He's a Navy SEAL. Thank you very much, John. John McGuire, everybody. And also a man who's a tough cookie, and he's doing a great job. Virginia GOP Chair Rich Anderson. He says we're going to win. Rich, thank you. Are we going to win, right? We got to win. Oh, by the way, we win Virginia, the race is over. You understand that?
Hello.
So,
I
don't want to put any pressure on Randy and on Glenn and on everybody else. But
Me too,
we win
Blue Rose.
Virginia, you know, it's over. It's over. I saw that today. They said if he wins Virginia on top of everything else, it's over. And former Congressman, good guy, Randy Forbes. Randy, thank you. Thank you. You look good. Thank you, Randy. Above all, because we are near so many military facilities, I want to salute every single U.S. service member and veteran in the audience today. We have the highest rating with the veterans of any president. Thank you. So let's have a big round of applause for the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Under the Trump administration, we fully rebuilt the U.S. military, and we created Space Force. We totally defeated the ISIS territorial caliphate 100%. We did it in 4 weeks. They said it was going to take 5 years. We extinguished the founder and leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi. We terminated the worst top terrorist, Qasem Soleimani. These are the 2 top terrorists in the world. We left Iran weak and broke and begging to make a deal. They wanted to make a deal so badly. We would have made a deal. We would have made a good deal for them. But then we had the rigged election, and now we have an incompetent president. We stood with our friends and ally in the state of Israel. We recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. And we recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, something they were trying to do for 70 years. And with the Abraham Accords, we made peace in the Middle East at a level that nobody has ever seen, the Abraham Accords. We had Russia, China, and North Korea in check, and I was the first president in decades who started no new wars. Instead, I brought our troops back home. We brought them all back home. If I was president, the war in Ukraine would never have happened. The October 7th attack on Israel would never have happened. The Russian nuclear submarines would not be circling Cuba 60 miles off our Miami coast. Think of it. We have Russian submarines circling Cuba, and the fake news media doesn't want to talk about it. If you were president, they'd be calling for your indictment. If Bob was president, but you could handle it, you've proven that. If anybody was president that was a Republican, they don't even talk about it. Think of it. We have Russian submarines and Russian warships in Cuba, and Cuba's right next to Miami, in case you don't know. Can you imagine? And the fake news media, those people right there with all those cameras, they don't want to talk about it. For our great veterans, we passed VA accountability and VA choice, 2 things they said were impossible to get passed. And while Joe Biden pretends to be a defender of veterans, Crooked Joe has tried to rehire the sadists who mistreated our great. You know, we fired 9,000 people out of the VA because they were sadistic, they were sadists, they were hurting our veterans, they were thieves, they were crooks, they were bullies. We fired 9,000. Biden now wants to hire them all back. He's trying to reinstate 5,000 poorly performing VA. These are all people that I fired, VA employees that I fired, and give them back full pay. We fired them because they were sadists and they were bullies and they were hurting people that weren't in prime time. It'll cost us $200 million in back pay. This is what he wants. He wants to put the thugs back into the VA, and people are not happy. On day 1 of my new administration, I will fully restore the use of VA accountability and direct my Secretary of Veterans Affairs. And by the way, all this stuff passed Congress. I got to pass Congress. Wasn't just an executive order. And direct my Secretary of Veterans Affairs, my last one did a great job, to fire every corrupt abuser of our veterans who Joe Biden wants to keep on the payroll, wants to have them back. As Commander-in-Chief, I will defend our military. I will always honor our veterans, and I will restore peace through strength. Before I even arrive, at the Oval Office shortly after we win the presidency. We win the presidency. I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine totally settled. I know a good guy who could settle it. That guy right there, Glenn. He would settle it. He did some pretty tough deals. You have good experience for settling. Yesterday's debate should make it clearer than ever how important it is to elect a competent president who will prevent World War III. I'm the only one that can say it. I know every one of those players, and they respect us. In my next term, we will build a great iron dome over our country, a dome the likes of which no one has ever seen before, a state-of-the-art missile defense shield that will be entirely built and made in the USA.
Woo! Now we're talking.
And largely in the Commonwealth of Virginia. A lot of it is expected to be done right here in Virginia. You know, Israel has a dome, but we have technology. Ronald Reagan wanted it to happen years ago, but we didn't have the technology, in all fairness, then. But he wanted it. But now we have incredible technology. As you know, 300 missiles were recently shot at Israel, and 299 were knocked down, and one was basically disabled. So they stopped 300 missiles from going into Israel. And we were going to have a better dome, a more technologically capable dome. And we're going to build a great dome over this country because we deserve it. We deserve it. Despite Joe Biden's flagrant lies on the debate stage, I will not cut one penny from Social Security or Medicare, which is what he is going to do. He's destroying Social Security. I kept that promise for 4 straight years, and I'll keep it again. Remember, I didn't increase. I didn't do. You know, they talk about Russia. Russia, under Bush, took land. Russia, under Obama, took land. Russia, under Biden, is going to take the whole thing, it looks like. Russia, under Trump, took nothing. They took nothing. It's true. True. Pinocchio Joe lied about all the things that I did to preserve Social Security. He's going to destroy Social Security by allowing all of these people in and using it. Remember that, Congressman. You got to stop him. And even his lies about now the inexpensive insulin. So I was the one that got you the inexpensive, not him. That was done 3 years ago. And the sad thing, it came due 2 years later. And I said, you mean if I lose this race? That was at the time. The new president's going to get credit. And he goes around talking about how he did insulin. I did the insulin, where the seniors get insulin at a very low price. By contrast, Joe Biden has cut Medicare Advantage payments for 2 straight years, a total betrayal to our seniors. Biden has cut Advantage payments. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty, better than they have ever been before. We will take our horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., and clean it up, renovate it, and rebuild a capital the likes of which that even we haven't seen in its prime. We will get rid of the murder and the crime. You go from Virginia to take a tour of the Capitol, look at the great monuments and all, you end up getting shot, mugged, knifed. We're going to clean it up, and we're going to get rid of all the crime. There's not going to be any crime. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and any other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the shoulders of our children. And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate.
There we go.
And I will keep men out of women's sports. And fully uphold, of course, the totally under siege Second Amendment. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech, and I will secure our elections like never before. Our elections will be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and voter ID. Very simple. But until then, Republicans must win. We're going to count on Virginia more than just about any place else. We're so close. This would be an incredible historic victory. We want a landslide that's, and remember this term, too big to rig. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. If it's too big to rig, if it's too big, they can't rig it. They're going to try. They're bad. They have no shame. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done the near, think of it, they wouldn't have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration has done. So if you want to save America, go out, get your family, get your friends, get everyone you know, and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. But whatever you do, you have to go out and vote. You have to vote.
We need to.
And if you want us to help ensure election integrity, sign up to Protect the Vote. It's very simple. Get out and help us. ProtectTheVote.com. Very simple. Protect, because we don't need votes. We need protection of the votes once they're cast, because these people will do anything to stay in power. So ProtectTheVote.com. Help us protect the vote. We're going to protect it. And we have law enforcement. Every law enforcement agency in Virginia and every other place has endorsed us. They're going to all be watching. From Fredericksburg to Williamsburg, from Alexandria to Norfolk, and from Roanoke to Richmond, to right here in Chesapeake, Virginia. It's been the home of some of the greatest American heroes ever to walk the face of the earth. This is the place where George Washington led the patriots of the Continental Army to victory at Yorktown. What a history you have. Virginia was the home of Thomas Jefferson, who wrote those immortal words, "All men are created equal." And Virginia gave us James Madison, James Monroe, Lewis and Clark, Booker T. Washington, Ella Fitzgerald, the Bedford Boys who gave their lives on D-Day, and Patrick Henry, who declared, "Give me liberty or give me death." Pretty good. That's a pretty good history. That's not bad. You know, I stop at a lot of states. They don't quite have a lot of that, right, Governor? Together, they helped build America into the greatest and most exceptional nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation that is in serious decline. We are a failing nation. Very sad thing to say. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, willpower, and strength. We are a nation that has, quite honestly, lost its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. With the right leadership, every disaster Joe Biden has created can be fixed, and can be fixed really very, very quickly, and we will get it done fast. Every problem can be solved, and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be strong, sealed, and secure. Inflation will be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. Optimism will be surging. The American dream will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the ones shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th president of the United States.
45 and 47. 45 and 47.
Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of America. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Virginia. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow. 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 Okay. This is obviously the longest live stream we've ever had in our life, but man, that was just worth every second of it. If you made it this far, let me know that you made it to the end. Type in, I came all the way to the end, Nez, in the comments, replay viewers, live viewers. I want to give a shout out to Keenan Rippin. I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome to being a new member. Love you, man. Squeak6723. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Yep, Rumble was definitely crashed last night. Wooeen, thank you so much. I really appreciate you for the $10 super chat. Joseph Ricard, thank you for gifting. And Wooeen again, thank you for 5 memberships. That's awesome. Johanna or Johanna, I apologize. Thank you so much for the membership. Howie, you were awesome. $10 super chat. Thank you. And then Joseph again, you rock. Thank you, Joseph. I'm so happy you're here with us. Chad Brumette, who's a new member. I think this is a really, really important comment. I love the way you said this. Chad says, if you think Dem Kingmakers realized last night that Joe Biden is too far gone and started panicking, you're naive. They chose this timing to sound the alarm in mass, justifying his ouster. I absolutely agree with that. Thank you, Chad. Well said. Thank you again, Joseph, for another gift of a membership. I absolutely love you guys. Don't forget to tap that thumbs up. Share this out with everybody. I love you guys so much. I've got to get rolling. We've got so much left to cover here on Friday. I got a new video coming out on the YSL RICO trial that I got to get finished, plus other things. I love you, love you, love you. I love going live. I love hanging out with you guys, and I love hanging out with our president, Mr. Trump. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. Don't forget, in the pinned comment is our free newsletter. Make sure you sign. It's absolutely free. All you got to do is give us your best email. Tap that link in the pinned comment. Click on free newsletter. Give us your best email, and you're in. We never spam, and we never share with any third party. That is not the Nez Nation way. I love you guys. God bless you, and may God bless